Buonasera. Good evening, everyone, and welcome to Fate's Grip, episode 41, Vidasq Vim. And I said that because I want everyone to just make sure that I know the sounding the sounding of all the spelling of that word is a bit haywire. So that's how I pronounce it. A bit like the Tarasque or Tarasque, like I like to pronounce it. I know it's terrible.
You do not.
I do pronounce it Tarasque. I know. It was a grade 10 thing that just happened to stick.
What about Tarasque?
So, we're almost ready to go straight into this episode. We do obviously have some people that we'd love to shout out. Who would like to start?
Alright, you should start.
Yeah, yes, upgrade, perfect. I should start. Well, everybody, we have very, very soon a giveaway to give away. So,
no way.
You can still enter up until the midway point during our stream this evening, and the instructions on how to enter are on our Twitter page. Essentially, like most other giveaways, follow us, retweet, and anything else, comment, or just retweet and follow us.
Follow, retweet,
and like. Thank you. So you get this amazing set of Kraken dice. Thank you, Kraken Dice, for being able to offer us this to give away to everybody. What's the name of them? The Shadow...
Rainbow in the Dark.
Oh, this is the Rainbow in the Dark set. Beautiful. Look it up.
I used to own a set of these, and then I gave them to a friend as a gift. They're really quite beautiful.
That's how beautiful they are.
We ship all around the world.
Only give good gifts.
Yeah, exactly right.
Emily's like, I wouldn't know. I've never received a gift from you.
That's true. That's absolutely true.
So save it for the end, guys. Save it. No arguments this evening. Okay, just only in character. If Dad's watching, hi Dad. Hey Dad.
Dad.
Yeah, it is.
Hey Dad.
So, moving right along. The giveaway for the dice. We'll draw the name at the start of the second half, and you've got to be in it to win it. So, if you haven't already, please also subscribe to our channel on Twitch, just to make sure that we are giving you the best experience that we can. The other shout out that I'd like to make is to our amazing friends, Meeples and Dragons. John and Saz, thank you very much once again for your continuous support. And we had a bit of was there a lunch with them that someone had a little while ago, perhaps? If not, no, that's okay. What happened?
Hold on, wait. Aeoncraft just resubscribed to us. Yay. So they're on a 2-month streak at the moment.
Thank you, Aeoncraft. Hey.
And Boyky Man's also subscribed as well. So they're on a 3-month streak. So you guys can fight it out.
Thank you so much.
And Raging Rolls is here.
Hey, Raging Rolls. Good to have you.
Good to have you. Again.
We got a bit of an open sort of door wind happening at the moment, if you haven't already seen. But yeah, thank you, Meeples and Dragons, for continuing to be on our side and help us out with all this amazing advice and just these amazing gifts that you have given us and giveaways that you've provided. We are very grateful. Thank you. But that's me. Go for it, guys.
You go first. Okay, I go first.
So I don't know if you're laying awake at night and you can't get to sleep. Maybe
give Ben a call.
You could do that. But you can tune into the YouTube channel and listen to our old content and catch up. This morning we actually did a Discord for anybody that watched and wants to know any further information about our journey. You can see from episode 23 onwards. Yeah, check out the YouTube channel. Like and subscribe.
That's when we learned that Twitch doesn't keep our old streams.
Yes, that's how we learned that.
And it was deleting the old ones.
As well, I think we were in the teens when we started streaming.
Yeah.
And then we were like, huh.
Where are all of our streams gone?
We are the amateurs.
They're all gone.
We are the amateurs. Yep.
Everyone's an amateur at some point.
Yeah.
Who else would like to go? Go for it.
You're first. No, I'll go first. I had the pleasure of going on a stream the other day with a group called Adventuring Guild. If you want to follow them on Twitter, they are at Guild Adventure. They also they're a podcast that reviews D&D home brew stuff. So check them out and all their other stuff. But also check out the stream that we did. We did a 24-hour charity stream for Second Life. Sorry, that's a game. I always get these mixed up. Extra Life. Thank you, Emily. Don't play Second Life. That's a terrible game. But yeah, the stream was actually a heap of fun. We got to be childhood heroes and things, or what kind of pop culture reference. And we were all sent to hell, and we had to just be a bunch of idiots in hell. It was really funny. I played Michelangelo or Mikey from Teenage Mutant Ninja Turtles, and did it absolutely no justice. But whatever.
I heard you say Cowabunga dude, and I was like, that
was the first thing I said.
The scariest.
Yeah.
I've ever heard Preston's voice.
I used to when I was a little kid, when I would go to kindy every morning.
Do it.
I used to run into kindy every morning and be like, "Cowabunga, dude!" So that was fun reliving my childhood.
Amazing.
But yeah, check them out. They raised over $800 US in for the charity stream, but you can continue to donate. I believe it's for a children's hospital. Don't remember the name of the children's hospital, but it is all the information is on their Twitter. So go check it out.
If they hit $1,000 US, they're doing a giveaway of some D&D books. So
fantastic! Wow,
yeah.
Good on them. Excellent. Cool. I'll just be 1 second. Obviously, we don't have Thorum here currently, but he's on his way. Go for it.
Mr. Michele, can I speak?
You certainly can.
Cool. Thanks.
I don't know if we've got enough time.
That's the end of the episode. I wanted to just take a look back. We joined Twitter 4 months ago. 4 months and 11 days ago. Yeah. 4 months and 11 days.
Wow.
So Fates Group has been a concept for 4 months and 11 days, which, considering we're nearly at 900 followers, is huge.
We are too.
We actually had a group message us on our Twitter the other day, who are newer to the world of content creation. Their name is Total Party Wipe, and it's at Total Wipe on Twitter. These guys sent us the sweetest message. We replied to a comment that they left on one of our tweets. They sent us this really sweet message saying that they gained a bunch of followers from us replying, and I think we sat here and it just really reminded us of what it's like to be starting out in the streaming world. So I wanted to tell you guys a little bit about them. Total Party Wipe. I love their bio because it kind of reminds me of us. But their bio is what started as a joke is now a joke with production value. Welcome to Total Party Wipe. It is an animated monthly D&D adventure. So they animate their campaign. So,
wow,
so
that's
cool.
talent.
Yeah. What nationality are they?
They are not listed.
Okay.
Not sure where they're from, but bunch of really cool people. They have a YouTube channel as well. They're only at 16 followers. So go and hit them up, maybe surprise them with some follows. I'll post their link in the Twitch chat shortly.
Yeah.
Nice. Awesome.
Yeah, that's excellent.
All right. What else we got? Anything else before we get into it?
Please don't kill us.
Okay. Can't promise anything. So, let us commence tonight's episode of Fate's Grip. Let's recap first. So, after an evening of tension at the butcher shop of Derok, where you encountered the Boromar clan and Thorum and Osei and Fariso stayed and spoke to this dwarf suffering from the Red Death, a debilitating disease that the Drow seem to have concocted and have been experimenting on other races. You found yourselves back at the Inn of the Golden Sun, where you played cards and you rested. When you awoke, you ate, speaking to Fripp from the Trust, a secret law-abiding order in Zelago. He warned you of Fariso, the Archmage of the 12 of Corvair, and his suspicious activities. Thorum and Fariso and Osei returned, and you found Thorum's mace.
Add it to the list!
Do it. Transformed into a mighty mace of gems and colour and gold. Thorum now able to heal the Red Death. Amara, you discovered Fariso was not as honest as he seems, while discussing some of his childhood and past, and mentioned this to Osei. Before you could save King Boronel from this Red Death illness, while you were on your way to his palace, a massive warforged emerged from the earth and began rampaging through the district. With Osei and Dench aiding, Thorum's 5 felled the being. It, however, during its path, killing many in its wake. So, after a violent and quick battle, where this automaton sweeping through this street, this busy street where guards you can see around you are bloodied or dead, buildings are crumbled with stone and timber. You can see above you dust still is filling the alleyway that is directly looking onto the plaza and then the Golden Sun Inn. You all have scrapes. Thorum thankfully healing some of your wounds. Osei, in the last moment of when you recall speaking to you, Dench, and congratulating you on your ferocity, and you her pale face and bloodshot eyes and fangs that emerged when the battle begun, still there, her chest heaving and breathing heavily. Some tears in her clothes, having been injured herself. But those wounds, interestingly enough, you're looking at her now, without touch, without magic, seem to be healing over. As you look down on this metallic titan, what would you like to do?
Can I just ask a question and clarify? Did you say when it fell, when we destroyed it, it collapsed and killed more people? Mm-hmm. Oh boy.
You reacted to that last. You're like, not my building. Then you were like, it's an orphanage.
Oh. I was feeling a little bit more feisty last session.
I wouldn't mind, I'd be getting my bow ready and walking up to the machine and just checking its insides after seeing the 2 warforged inside, just making sure they're dead as well.
Sure, make an investigation check for me.
Investigation is 13.
13. You all see Rook just climbing on top of the twisted and broken metal of the leg, and then going into this compartment where it's the compartment is actually not very easily accessible. You can't actually get to that point because that's how the warforged fell onto its whatever equivalent to its stomach would be, and it crushed the warforged troops underneath it. You sort of make your way and you sort of push aside what you can. Make me a strength check for me.
6.
6? Okay. It's difficult for you to push aside this metal that's in between this large body and the ground, and you can't quite make it to that point in the center. What you do find is you do see body parts of others that are severed and broken underneath this being. Guards, you see broken weapons, you see a couple of gold pieces that have these blood splatter on them in the dirt as well. going around the outside of the warforged, just making your way across, you notice that a lot of its body parts are broken. So this Titan has just been, probably from the fall, more than your own attacks. But at the last, a lot of its pieces are shattered, and there's not a lot of working material here left.
Yeah. Okay. I yell out to the group. Is everybody all right?
I think Gunner's still on the roof. Like,
Yes, you are.
I'm not going to reply. I'm just laying there.
I don't hear Gunner.
He's dead.
He's not underneath this thing, is he?
No, he was on the roof.
Oh, that's good.
I'm pretty okay. Thorrum held me. How are you, Dench?
We all seem fine, but maybe we should check some of these buildings, see if there's any survivors.
Absolutely, I agree.
Have a look around to see if there's... He's pretty much just strong, so anything I could lift off anyone trapped under.
To find those people, make an investigation check for me.
Can I look around to see if there's anyone I recognise that's not like the group that we're immediately with, like someone we've maybe crossed paths with or anything like that?
Just stare at a rock.
Familiar faces.
Around this area?
Yeah.
Sure. Make a perception check, please. What'd you get, Dench?
Nat 1.
And that one? Okay.
To kick off the night.
Natty 1.
Dench, you're moving around and your focus is sort of back towards Osei. Just looking back at her every now and again, you can't really make out the moving bodies from the still bodies. Osei's eyes follow your path, where as you walk around this thing, and it's just distracting.
I'll just be lifting heavy shit to try and impress her.
Strength check.
There's death everywhere, and you're like making eyes.
Spooky.
That's better. So that's 23.
23. Yeah, no issue. You are even this a piece of metal that's probably as tall and almost as wide as you are, and it's solid, but you just I'll get you also to make a performance check for me to see if you can handle not being too phased by this.
You can't handle
He's probably phased.
Did you roll in that one?
A 3.
What's your performance?
So 5 total.
5 in total. All right. You're having trouble lifting it, and even though you want to impress, you're like, and you lift it completely off of the ground just for a couple of moments before you toss it to the side and it clangs up against another piece of metal. You don't, thankfully, but Osei then leaves your gaze, and she goes around, and she's also looking around for any sort of survivors. Just need to find my 20. Okay. She's sort of looking around at the time. What was your perception check?
22.
22. Okay. For a couple of seconds, you look around and you don't see anyone. Then your eyes do gaze over at a corner of this street where Fripp, hood over his head, is leaning against one of the buildings. He's just sort of
Watching.
arms crossed, and not just looking towards you, but sort of looking across the street, looking towards the bridge, then looking back towards you, and almost like he's just doing what you're doing, inspecting the entire back and forth. He's also, what you also see, crossing the bridge, there seems to be a crowd of people at the very, probably about 25 to 30 meters further along the bridge, and they're not getting any closer, they're just sort of gawking and observing. But through that crowd, Fariso starts to make his way and walk quickly in your direction.
Towards us, not away.
Towards you.
Okay, good. I'm gonna make my way over to Fripp.
Mm-hmm.
And I'm just gonna say, Fripp, did he mention anything about this happening to us? Like, he gave us an inkling about something under the city, didn't he?
Who?
Fripp.
Oh, sorry, you're asking me as a DM. Right, okay. Yes, he did.
He did, so he kind of told us that something like this would happen. Potentially.
To a point.
Yes,
yes.
I'm gonna turn to him and I'm gonna say, is this what you expected?
In low tones, he sort of points you to come a bit closer, so he can whisper. And as you do, he says, "Yes, this is. I have other agents here under my command. They are just in. Shana's a big place, mind you, so they're going to find it difficult to see if this was a distraction and who sent it, and why, and what perhaps has happened away from here.
Is there more of them?
I'm not sure. We haven't found any, but this one looks quite newly built.
Straight to the Lord of Plays.
That's a possibility.
Is there a way to find out?
Let me go and have a look. And he hurries away towards this still pile, and he starts to jump up onto the leg, jump into, and he's quite small, so he can actually fit underneath, and he disappears for some time.
While he's doing that, I'm just gonna be looking at my group and looking over at Farizo as well, and looking at Osei, and just making sure I can kind of keep track of where everyone is.
Okay. Yep. So you do have eyes on pretty much everybody. Gunnar, what are you doing?
I will peel myself up off the ground. Just looking at my spell slots. I'll look around to see, because I'm on a fairly high vantage point, right?
Yeah, you are. Yeah, you're on a probably a 3-story tower that's connected to a 2-story building.
Okay.
And then you're at the top of it, yes.
And when that thing was still standing, was I above its head height, or
yes,
was I?
Were. Oh, you were almost level. It was ever so
high level almost.
Yeah, it was still above you slightly.
Okay. Yeah, I just want to survey the damage. If I can see where it came from, and lastly, if there's anyone in danger.
Okay. Perception check, please.
So dramatic.
Oh, that's cocked. 17.
Okay.
Man, my perception's good.
Around the corner, and then in what looks to be a shattered building, looks to be maybe the remnants of a double-story home, there seems to be a very, very large hole about a block away.
As if it came out of it, maybe?
It's about the size of this creature, if not a little bit wider. So you feel like that's its origin.
Okay.
You also notice that the slightly moving and unmoving bodies directly in the vicinity of this of the buildings that have been destroyed around this creature. You also notice at points across the street and around the corner from where it came from, guards that are tending to each other's wounds, some villagers that are crying. It looks like there are people that are bandaging others.
Yeah.
There are a set of 6 or 7 white and yellow robed beings that are also tending to people's wounds as well.
Have you seen them before?
Make a history check.
Specifically, I mean in stream.
History check.
That's Let's say, hang on. I always forget which dice I get to use. 5th level. It was a D6. Oh, okay, it's a D6. I love jacking that up. So that is a 16.
Sorry, what is it?
16.
Yeah, sorry, it sounded like you were going to add something to it, and I was just, I was waiting for you. Apologies.
No.
So, at 16, you do recognize a marking. That was Thorum. He's coming in. You do, excuse me. You do recognize the marking of House Jarasco. House Jarasco is the mark or the House of Healing. And you notice that there are six of them or so that are tending to wounds. And
is that the mark that Thorum took?
I believe so. Yes. Yeah.
Okay.
So and they are either magically healing wounds or manually. They have these little bandage, little pouch that white and yellow wrappings are coming out of.
I will cast Fly on myself, and I will shoot off towards the direction that this creature came from, and just staying up relatively high. Like, I want to raise up a little bit higher than the rooftops, and just start like investigating and like seeing if I can piece together what's happened.
Okay. From your vantage point, and that check you made earlier, it's enough that you can continue using that roll. The first thing you notice is that people are starting to look up at you a bit weirdly. The crowd, injured or not, are just curiously looking and then moving along, making a very wide clearance of this area anyway. You then take into account the site of this hole, and it's like I said, as large as, or if not bigger than, this Titan warforged itself.
Yeah.
As you look down, you see blackness. There is a landing that is a good maybe 60 or 70 feet down, but then you don't notice anything else.
So it looks like it's climbed out from underneath.
Yeah,
okay.
But then around it there's bits of broken timber, some furniture that's been splintered and just crushed. You do make out what looks to be maybe a body. And that's like on the actual ground floor, and that's it.
Okay. I will zip back towards the group and land close to Amara.
I see him coming.
Yep.
Okay.
Like really fast though.
Yep.
Like 120 feet every 6 seconds.
Oh my god. That's my reaction.
Oh my god.
True fear.
True fear. There is a massive hole down the street. It's where this came from, and it goes really deep.
Really?
Yeah.
How deep?
I would say really deep.
We should probably check that out.
Remember, I overheard that lady in the inn, like, how many days ago?
It was probably about, by now, probably more than a week.
About a week ago, when we were in the Cog and Fresh, there was a lady, and she was talking to someone, maybe another lady, I don't remember. And they were talking about the Warforged, and there was going to be a distraction. I think this is it. So something else is happening.
I just spoke to Fripp, and he is, he's just investigating if this thing had something to do with the Lord of Blades. If we can see that from what's in front of us.
I think.
But he also mentioned that he has a number of agents in the city, that hopefully might have eyes on anything else that's happening. Also, Farizo's coming.
As
over there.
you say that, Farizo suddenly he has so far ignored you all while this has happened and is simply inspecting this creature. But he has sort of eyed you once and sort of given you all a bit of a nod. You can see very dark like sort of bags under his eyes, these dark shadow, as though either stress or lack of sleep has taken him. And he turns to you, Thorum, first, as you're sort of taking stock of the recent battle as well, and he says, well, it seems like everyone's accounted for. How are you feeling after this attack?
Oh, really?
Is that right?
Yeah.
Dang, that was quick. Well done. Someone's been waiting until I got here for that one.
Welcome.
Hey, and you get the special robot eye contact.
Very good. Thank you for the dance.
Yeah. I look towards him and say, I feel weary. Where were you? We could have used you in this fight.
Well, the safety of this city is at this moment, was on this moment on your shoulders. I was with King Boronel making sure that he was safe. That is my responsibility.
Do they not go hand in hand? Are we all together? I can't say.
Yeah, you're close by.
I look to
This
them
was for you
exasperatedly. I'm like,
Yeah.
Do they not go hand in hand?
Well, we cannot be in two places at once, and I felt like this creature needed you all to handle it.
I'll reach out to shake Frieza's hand, and I'll just grab it.
Yeah, he
I'll go, yeah, appreciate your assist on this one, mate. Give him a tap, but I'm specifically looking at his hand to see if there's anything I can recognise with his hand and the one I saw come out of the shadows with the green flash that hit Osei.
Yeah, okay. Make another perception check for me.
Oh, where? Right into the microphone. Well,
Is 13.
13. Looking down at it, his hand is, after years of writing and performing magical effects, and that does take hand gestures, and it looks like he's a fairly stocky figure underneath this dark blue robe he has. His hands are meaty, worn, calloused, strong, and veined. Not the kind of hand that you saw. Recollecting, you saw a much more younger hand, but you can't really make out anything more about it. What would be a younger hand?
Strong grip for a mage.
I've been around for a time. Well, it looks like you're well.
I could do with a bit of healing.
He immediately puts his hand on you, and with his other hand taking it away from your grip, he pulls out from a pouch a small red vial, and you will
die.
Instantly die.
You regain 8 points of damage.
Wow. I know I said when Thorum healed me before that I felt shiny and fresh. I now feel like I was never hurt and I am in a better mood.
He hands you this potion of with this red, slightly gold-specked liquid, and he says, "Greater healing."
Thanks.
As I said, I was with King Boronel.
How's King Boronel fare?
Not well. The concern I have is that he is more quickly becoming worse, more than others.
You're suggesting we should go to him now, then?
Please, I do ask this. I will come with you.
And where's Melestra? Is she
What?
not the consulate to King Boronel?
She is, but she's been delayed.
How such?
She's an Arcanix. She has some research to do. She has been made aware of this concern. For now, she's asking for my aid.
How far away is the king?
He's simply in his palace. Probably about half an hour walk.
How about if we fly?
Half the time, or less.
I'm gonna say in Gunner's head, I want to wait to hear back from Fripp though, before we go anywhere.
I'll reply back saying, maybe we should split the party.
I'm gonna say back, yes, that's
I
always a good idea.
I can take Thulrum and you and Rook can stay together with old mate. Forget his name.
I'll say back in your head.
Oh, Dench.
I'll say back in your head.
Dame Judy Dench. It's not in your head, shut up.
I'll say in your head. You can take Dench if you want.
No, I'd rather not.
Can you?
No, I can't.
Can you physically?
No.
Oh,
I
never
can't.
mind.
I don't have the spell slots.
What's the spell slot?
I'm telling you as Preston.
Oh.
I literally can't.
Rizzo, I might stay here with the aid of Rook, if you don't mind staying with me, and try and get some of these people out from under the rubble.
The guards will do this. The Shan Watch is on their way. They are also aided by House Jarasco and their healers. So I do not want, especially what is coming, I do not want your magics and your powers to be waned by.
What do you mean, what's coming?
In time. There will be a guest here. There is a guest here with King Baronel. She has been speaking to us. Perhaps it's best if you all accompany me to there and we can discuss our next move together.
Who's the guest?
It's better that you come with
Tell me
me.
in my head.
I feel like you should tell us, because
I'm afraid you will not follow if I tell you.
Is it by Selu?
No. Isn't she dead?
Well, I don't know. Who else would it be?
You've not met her before.
So why wouldn't
Yes,
we come?
You have.
You have not met our guest.
Why would we not come then? I feel like we should know who we're getting ourselves involved with.
Shit.
Very well. She comes from below the mountains of Krona Keep.
Is she drow?
She is here because she is aware of the escaped dwarves, or the dwarves that had been let go by her brethren, to wander, to spread this thing, this illness. And she seems to disagree with her family's goals.
Okay.
And she seems to be here to want to help.
Okay, that's not so bad.
I don't see a problem. Maybe we should go as fast as we can, so can you help us with that?
I can. What I also have available, however, is... in fact, what I don't have for you is time. What she is offering is something that will only be open for a short time. A way to perhaps stop this spreading illness. So he sort of shifts a little bit, almost uncomfortably, as he says, so when we go there, know that she is not the cause. She is asking for your aid, and she's asking for it quickly.
Does she suffer from the disease herself?
She seems to have an immunity, whether or not she has not said it in so many words, but it seems as though she has perhaps been given a concoction of some kind. to resist it.
Does that mean she also has a cure?
It's a resistance.
So it doesn't cure people, but it will stop them from getting it.
Possibly.
Can we have it?
That is for... I would like this, but it doesn't seem like she has any more for now. But from what you were saying, Thorum, that is not a care for you. I would
prefer not to have to heal, to rid them of the disease. It would be better to prevent my companions from ever getting it in the first place.
Prevention is always better than the cure.
They're a terrible band.
What?
They're alright.
As in the cure?
Oh, I was making a joke, yes. Do I, just from his demeanour when he's talking about this guest, do I get the sense that he's like withholding information to like soften the blow?
You can roll insight for me.
Yeah, I can.
While all this is going on,
Go on.
I'm gonna inside him so hard.
just an investigation check on that warforged if there's anything valuable.
You've done a round already. It's probably been enough time where you can make another. Sure.
24.
24. Okay. Let me just send you some secrets.
Could you just whisper them into the microphone, ASMR, and I'll rewatch it? No, don't do that. Don't do that.
What?
Gotta rewatch the whole exactly that point now.
I'm waiting to watch that. Just like every chewing noise you've ever wanted to hear, right here at Fates Group. Fates Chew.
It's true.
Let's release a gum.
Yeah.
Fates Chew.
Just feel like there's 5 ads.
I don't think we have the budget.
Blown away.
We have the budget for that ad.
Shot on like anything. Literally anything. We could shoot it on this non-branded tablet that I have in front of me.
Alright, I sent that to you. What did you roll for your investigation? 18. Looking around, you make your way around and you do notice the Warforged Titan does seem to have within the joints of some of its knees and its elbow, where those limbs would connect. You notice that there are strands of slightly glowing gold string, it seems, that has been severed because of the damage that it has taken, but you kind of understand by fighting it that it did connect one part of its body to another, and you pick up 3 of these strands. They're about 1 meter each, but broken on both ends, and they are like strands of golden hair. Basically, they're quite thin. The other thing you do find is there is a body that is severed at the waist, and you notice that this very, very deceased young looking human has this, you've seen her before somewhere, so her sort of she looks familiar, but you just don't recall from where. But as you go and look a bit closer at her, she seems to have a piece of parchment that's in a closed hand. As you sort of pry the hand open, you grab this parchment. It's very wrinkled, and you notice that it's covered in this dust, but it's still sort of wrinkled and closed. Do you want to do anything with it at the moment?
I mean, there's no outside of her looking familiar. I don't understand where she's really from. I didn't think she was.
It may have just been in passing. You might have just crossed the street one day and you just took like med eyes for a second and then walked out without really noticing. It's that sort of memory. It's you hardly recognize it, but you've seen her briefly. Okay.
It's a howler.
So, are you going to share immediately, or do you want me to send this to you privately?
Send this to me privately.
Okay. While that's happening, what does everyone else want to do at the moment?
Do I see this happening?
You do notice that Rook is taking stock of a particular figure that's still an unmoving from afar, but you haven't done anything yet.
Do I see him? I don't see him pick up the parchment.
Make a perception check.
7. 8, sorry. 8.
8? No.
Has Fruit service, by the way?
He has re-emerged, and as he probably emerged as Rook was starting to make his way around to investigate, and he comes out of underneath, and he's carrying what looks to be a broken crossbow. So it seems as though he was able to get into the warforged in that compartment. He comes out, and he has so much dirt and dust on him, and he sort of is wiping that off his light green, now very dirty robe, and he walks over back to you. Nothing. Hello, Friso. And Friso just gives him a bit of a nod. Nothing of interest that I can see. I can't find its origin, who built it, where it's come from. Obviously, it left quite a destructive trail, so yes.
Can I have a go?
At what?
He just came out of the warforged, didn't he?
Yes.
Yeah.
Yes, if you want to.
Where did he come out of?
He was underneath where the two small warforged were in that compartment and were crushed. He just come out from underneath there.
Cool. I'll give it a go.
Do you want to go in there? Okay. What do you want to do while you're there?
Just investigate on the inside.
Cool,
see
cool.
See what I can find.
Sure.
Looking for specifically like any kind of indication of sigil or like craftsmanship. I don't know a lot about that kind of thing, but I will infer any kind of symbols or that kind of thing that would maybe give me an indication of who built it or what built it, that kind of thing.
Okay.
Yeah, the quality of the build maybe as well.
Yep. Okay. Go for it. Investigation for me.
Sorry, it's every time it lands. 24.
24. Okay. A lot of these.
I'll spend a long time in there if I have to.
Yeah. Okay. Well, I will get back to you then, if that's okay. Just while you are inspecting, because that is quite an extensive role. I'll just be a second.
Yeah, go.
But in the meantime, Dench. That's all right. Dench, are you doing anything else at this time?
Can I get a decent look at this crossbow that Fripp's holding without actually interacting with him?
Yep. What are you trying to find?
So I'm proficient with smithing tools, and I would have remembered that the warforged from the compartment had the crossbows.
Yep.
So just seeing if I can notice any markings of sort of the smith or anything that might lead to.
Make a history check, and add what's blacksmithing. I need to double check this, but but you can add your proficiency bonus to this roll for me. If you can, I can't remember where the proficiency bonus is, but add that.
Yes, I've got the proficiency bonus, which would be.
What did you say?
I'm just waiting while you get your secrets. Well, you two have all your little secrets.
I don't have secrets.
You got secrets.
You don't know.
I don't have any secrets.
I just sent you that note, Rook.
22.
22. Okay. You have a bit of a closer look at it without touching it, and you don't appear threatening, so Fripp is simply just holding it. The wood is a dark, splintered, but it does have on it what looks to be just like an inscribed face of just a warforged face on it. Apart from that, the wood itself seems to come from some oaks that originate in the Mournlands. So, Fariso continues. He says, while you are all making sure that you get your spoils from this thing, the king sleeps, and he still has my nimbus around him for protection. This drow, she is going to ask you to go with her to Chrono Peak. She will describe in more detail what this means. She has a fast way to get there.
And it is...
Oh, sorry.
No, you go.
No, you go.
I'll go.
And it's the bidding of the king that we should go.
In my eyes, Thorum, it is the bidding of Breland that you should, because he has not been able to rule effectively since this has occurred. Should you heal him, we do not know whether this thing can be caught again. And if so, what does that look like for Shan, for Breland? He needs for you to put a stop to this straight away. So, as far as I can tell, this is possibly the best course of action for now. Finding the source of this and putting it down.
Jordan, someone has just requested that the couch goblin do a little dance.
I don't see anyone on
Like, it's a top left player first.
There it is.
That's you.
Nice. Yeah.
What is that?
Oh,
That's good.
oh.
Throwing shapes.
Oh, wow.
Oh, you're throwing shapes.
You do a little robot at the end and you're...
That's a
No, I
fantastic.
don't. Oh.
Oh, wow. Oh,
That's way
Wow, that's way better.
fantastic.
Oh, you better step up and
Very
get it.
good.
Where's it say?
Always Jordan, our couch goblin.
Thank you very much, Rudolph. So,
I would also like to look at Reese and say, I'm confused. Only because you said something else is coming here. So why are we leaving here when something else is coming to deal with something somewhere else? Should we not stop what's coming here first? Whatever that is.
for now, I don't see Shan in any more immediate danger. I can take care of it here.
Yes. Just like he took care of this giant mechanical thing.
Are you saying that out loud?
Yes, very loudly.
He sort of quickly focuses on you, his eyes squint slightly, and he says, "This was a distraction. This could have meant that assassins or some other being was going to finish King Baronel. He's suffering, but if King Baronel were to die, then it would have thrown Shan and Breland into chaos.
Very well. Then let us go and ensure that he does not die."
That is advised."
Yeah, for him, think of all the assassins out there.
I laugh at that.
Observation.
I laugh. DM question. Oh no, actually, question for Frito. Who is next in line for the throne?
You're the prince we met along the way.
Prince Lind, Ilwinan.
And
He is visiting the Lazar Principalities currently, but he is returning on an airship as we speak, a royal airship, because of the happenings that are occurring over there currently. And obviously his father being ill.
And if the king was to die of this disease, and I were not able to cure him, but we do not know that I can, how capable is this prince?
He is unproven. He will need advisors, and the 12 are... all of us will be here to guide him. Together, not just one of us.
Very well.
At least for the first few months.
Very well. Very well. I'm ready to leave when my companions are.
What else are you all doing?
Dench, are you going to bring Osei with you?
I don't know. No. Osei, you coming with us?
She sort of strides up. Yes, I am. Although I feel a little weak. Can I take your arm, Dench? Please, just to support me in case.
Give her one of these.
Thank you. And she sort of comes in a little.
Walk up
I'm
to Grace and
also-
say, let's go.
Also give that bicep a bit of a flex while she grabs it.
Okay. Yep. No immediate reaction, but a bit of a smirk appears at the edge of her mouth, just to confirm what she felt.
Ooh. What did she feel? I'm just gonna roll a d10
Sure.
if I can find one.
Is this to find out how hot Dench is?
No, this is just to see. Oh, not much. It's fine. Just for my personal.
How are you feeling at the moment, Gunnar?
I don't know. I'm in a warforged.
But how are you feeling after the battle?
You were moaning on top of the roof.
Yeah, I was. I think he was being a little dramatic. Like, you know. I think he's okay. He's actually, like, healthy.
Sure.
Very healthy.
Yep.
If that's the question you were asking.
Yep.
If you're thinking mentally, he is a little confused, scared.
Mm-hmm. Okay.
Yeah.
Good to know.
Oh, sorry, guys. Oh, it didn't even slam.
Cute.
So, with your role, Gunnar, the metal is dwarven. It was made originally in most likely the Moral Holds.
Okay.
But then you recall that metal can be exported for many different things. It's interesting because every piece of the plating coming from this warforged is etched with a signature for whatever company or whatever blacksmith or metal worker has made this. So each plate has a little initial in it.
Is it the same initial
or
or
a
is it
marking?
different?
No, they're all different. So these pieces seem to have come from different parts, but all of the houses that have been inscribed underneath these initials all are dwarven houses.
Okay. Do they
They are masterwork.
how? This is probably a stretch. Does it look like it was recently constructed? Or
Yes.
So does it look like it has been slapped together, or it's been well made?
No, it looks like it's been well made. It looks like the pieces are slightly worn. Looking at the build of this thing, it certainly looks like it needed to have come into Shan in pieces.
Yeah.
And then assembled here. How long it took to assemble, you're not sure.
Inspecting though, the I don't know, whatever's holding it together, rivets or
Yep.
screws or whatever, do they all look the same, or do they look like they've been whatever they could get their hands on to?
They all look the same.
They all look the same. Okay.
Yeah.
So. Okay. one last thing. Do I get the sense that this was alive, this creature, or was it more like a construct, rather less than a warforged is alive?
A warforged, to your knowledge, has certain intelligence to it. This thing needs magical instruction.
Okay.
So to do that, you're aware, it needs a certain level of intelligence, but certainly not much.
Okay. So it's sort of more like a remote controlled object tool than a being. Okay.
Yeah.
All right.
Simple instructions.
Yeah.
Has probably the equivalent intelligence of a hill giant or something like that.
Okay. All right.
You know, hardly speaks and only takes the path that it is told to.
Okay. All right.
Cool. So Fariso looks at you and says, "Are we all going together then?"
Well, you said you had a way for us to get there faster, so I guess so.
And he turns and he starts to walk. As he does, he's going back towards the bridge where this crowd is still gathered. And you can see guards now at this point are holding their spears crisscrossed, not allowing anyone through. More House Grasso of golden, yellow and white robes are tending to wounded, carrying on sort of slats some of the bodies away. So they are starting to clear out. Some of the guards as well are already starting to, with twos and threes and fours, moving pieces of the metal that make up this warforged titan away from the scene in many different directions. You also see, interestingly enough, another. It's a duo. It's a halfling, and he seems to have this weird Robin Hood-like triangular hat on with the feather, and he has this enormous magnifying glass, and he's sort of doing this and inspecting this thing, and beside him this really tall Goliath, this lanky but sinewy being that's wearing a similar attire to this halfling, a simple light blue like tunic and shorts, but bare feet. And you can see its dark, rocky-like looking skin almost reflect in the sunlight, and he's beside him just carrying many backpacks. And he's following this halfling as he's being led around this titan. Fripp turns to you, Amara, and quietly, while Fariso is ahead, he says, "That is all I'm going to do here. I will contact you if I have any more information from my agents to see if there's any other issues in Shan currently. Do you need me for anything else?"
I'll say in his head, I'll say, "Thank you. Please update us of anything else that's happening in Shan, because it sounds like we're going to be asked to leave."
Very well, I will do so as soon as I can.
Do I hear this conversation?
That's in the mind.
Okay.
And he...
Can I grab for
Yes, you can, yes.
I guess everyone's turn starting to leave, I nod to get Fripp's attention. Might you know of any notorious individuals in the city that go by the initial N? No, that's vague.
Probably half the population. Their first names start with M.
Anyone that may be linked to warforged activities?
Not that I'm aware of.
US it is.
No, I'm sorry. Why?
No reason.
Okay. Well, if you have more information about it, let me know. We can collaborate.
And how do we get in contact with you, Fripp?
What I would offer is someone to accompany you. I will send them to the palace, and they will await you. They will be unseen, but they will know you're there. Until such time as you choose to leave.
Shall they make themselves known to us so we know that we can reach out?
Use our organization, trust. If you use that word, we will come to you, and we will relay any message back to me. Say it loudly so they can hear.
Thank you for it.
Very well. Okay. And he wordlessly then turns and quickly scurries around the corner and out of sight. Across the bridge, you start to travel between the crowds of people. You make your way into, away from Upper Central. Yes, please, Thor.
How did the crowd react?
As you're walking through, they seem to only gawk at you. You notice that there are one or two people that
There should be.
whisper to each other. Almost a silent crowd. They don't seem to... They almost seem afraid rather than impressed.
Of us.
You're not sure. They do. The crowd in general seems to look towards this large being that's been taken away and back to you and then back to it. And there are low-voiced conversations like, oh, who are they? Oh, wow. I saw it all. They destroyed it. Really? They destroyed this creature? Oh, they must be quite powerful then. Yes, I think they are. Yes, I don't know who they are though. And then it continues that like that.
As I hear this, and I magically give my bow out.
Okay.
So I had a bit of a show.
Make a performance check.
Yeah.
Isn't that one?
You drop the bow. Attached to him.
Yeah, somehow still drops it.
Open it up, pokes you in the eye.
These crowds are fairly packed in. As you release this bow from your hand, you can see that the bottom, in pure silver, just gets just emerges from your hand. Your fist becomes metal, and from the top, it also emerges the other side, hitting the nose. And you hear an audible crack as this citizen of Shan, this young-looking man, just gets completely blindsided by this, and you can see the blood start to gush out of his nose.
We all see this happen.
Why?
That's what you get.
So I'm gonna step forward and heal this guy. I'm just gonna use Cure Wounds.
Thorm, I have some potions. I have quite a lot of them now. If you prefer to save your energy.
Oh, sorry.
I go. Keep the potions. They are particularly valuable, and one day we may even trade them for coin if we're in a dire situation.
Keep our names out of your mouth.
As
We're Fulham's five.
yeah, as he begins to. There's another reason I don't want to use that potion. As I go to heal that, I'm going to, in such a way that Farizzo does not notice, so I'm going to do this. I'd also like to use my Thaumaturgy cantrip, which has a verbal component.
Bibbidi.
Can I disguise that amongst the healing magic that I'm performing?
So you're trying to do...
I want to use my Thaumaturgy cantrip to cause whispers in the crowd. I don't want to... I want to talk to... It's not... I don't want to... I want to say Thorm's 5. I want to start talking about the 5.
Okay.
Whispers throughout, and they go... And some of these will be, if I can do it, Zafarizio. He wasn't here. Who was? That's them. That's the 5. They killed it. As I kill that, so...
so you're trying to hide the fact you're curing them.
I'm trying to hide the Thaumaturgy, the whispers I'm creating,
Okay.
as I heal this random stranger.
Okay,
he's
so-
just broken. What a golden opportunity.
So do me a favor and just roll a stealth check for me if you're trying to hide that.
Sorry, give him this.
That it's coming from you, right?
Yes.
Yeah, okay. No, this is Thorum only one.
Punch another citizen.
That is... That's a 16.
A 16, okay. Alright. As you
There's a smile.
as you whisper this into the crowd, this starts to emerge. You can all hear very low tones of the five. Risa wasn't there. The five, they're the ones that did it. And you hear people start to take stock of that. And how much did you heal this gentleman for?
I didn't worry about him. Yeah, I mean,
You don't actually cure him. You just go.
7 points of healing.
7 points. Okay, that's enough. You heal him fully, and you see very quickly that the blood stops in its tracks, and you almost hear an audible crack as the nose goes back into place, and he's and he sort of just is pale-faced, looking just in the distance, almost in a daze, and you see Fariso just stop for a second, look towards you, and then sort of continues.
Can I also just yell out, the five giveth and they take away?
You can certainly do that.
Has it been more than 10 minutes, by the way, since I went and investigated that giant hole?
Not quite. Not
so
quite.
I'll maintain fly. I'm actually going to just float like a good 3 feet off the ground. So I'm in, like, my head height should be the same as Thorup's.
Okay, yep, so you are in the air, but only very slightly. Good to know. So, please.
Before we move on,
Please.
can I attempt to mock Rook by just give him a nod to get his attention?
Mm-hmm.
And then, as best I can, holding my arm away from my face so I don't actually stab myself. But I'm gonna go through the motions of what he just did and extend the arm blade, but then attempt to pretend that I've hit myself and go and laugh at him, point at him.
Yes, you can. You hear a couple of laughs behind you as the crowd who notice just and give you a bit of a thumbs up. You do notice that as well, Rook, by the way.
You like that
I
joke?
do approach Dench. Are you still holding?
Yeah.
Amara. I mean, Amara.
No, she's jelly.
Ooh.
And I whisper to Dench. Hey, do you hear him? Got something about it.
Oh shit.
Kind of look to see if Osei is paying attention.
Yeah.
She's not. She's just walking. She's actually taking the rear.
What you on about?
I pull out a small vial. So just trust me. And I take the top off, and I just
Who's top?
a little bit on him.
What are you giving him?
Just
Spraying.
Urine.
giving him a quick spray of that charm potion.
Right. Yep. Okay.
Oh no.
Wow.
Just give me a second while I just go back into
Gunner
you.
floats a little bit closer to you.
Could you do me a favor? Could you make a charisma saving throw, please?
Sure can.
Saving.
Sorry, no. Sorry, wisdom saving throw.
The -1. It's 4.
A 4?
Yeah.
Okay.
Let us play out.
No, what do you want to do?
No. That's I'm deciding not to do it.
Okay. You sort of feel a little bit of a almost like a burn initially on your shirt and on your arm as this liquid of pink, and then it lands on you, and then you suddenly feel your eyes open wide, and you see your vision turns a very light pink. The sky seems as though it's almost sunset, and your breathing becomes heavier and just more. You are almost hyper aware of just one person, and as you look towards Rook,
Yes!
you feel you feel your heart beating so hard and fast, and you only feel longing.
This is everything I've ever wanted to do in a campaign.
Rook has never looked, sounded, nor felt more amazing than he is at this moment in time, and that is all you can. And he is all you can focus on, because Dench, to you, you need to tell him how much you love him.
This is it. This is what you guys have been gearing towards.
They're actually about to become husbands.
So, as that's playing out,
I'm so happy.
you all continue your way into the district adjacent. Just give me a quick second here while I... Oh, there we go. No, we're good.
Read it back on track.
So, you end up just moving between bridges. You climb a tower that then has a bridge that is connecting one of the towers to another over a chasm of houses and levels below. And you notice that at this height, you're in the upper city. At this height, birds are flying past. Some seagulls, some crows, some pigeons. You see that the day's activities have only just started, with distant and close airships propelling themselves with fire and wind and these enormous balloons, whether they be above the ship-like constructs, or whether the balloons are behind or on the sides, keeping these things aloft. And the boats themselves are all shapes and sizes, like ships in the ocean, or rectangular or oval. They are floating here and there, some faster than others, and you can see that griffins being flown by just what look to be very well-dressed nobles scurry here and there. And you can see even in the distance what looks to be a rug that's holding 5 people, and that's gliding through the air as well, away from you. You see an enormous amount of traffic at this height, and you continue your way into another tower, down and then out again, into Menthis Plateau. In this particular district, you notice that it is one that you've been to before. It's predominantly an in-market and entertainment district, where you see, in this particular upper city, not a huge amount of that happening. However, what is replacing citizens and performers and entertainers are guards. You notice that in front of you, you eventually get to a point where there is simply one massive building in front, floating, and what would be usually a moat that is on the outside of this enormous castle is in fact simply air. And this castle is floating in the very, very center of this district, and surrounding it is a bridge that's connecting the landing you are on to the entrance, to the gate of this castle, where beyond it looks to be a small courtyard and a wall, a massive wall of this yellow-brown stone that rises and protects this keep from any other intruder. You can see on the bastions of the outside of some of these turrets guards in the Shan watch outfits that are pointing and keeping focus. But if there was not a bridge there, without magical ability, you wouldn't be able to get across.
What are they pointing at, the guards?
They're simply having a bow, or bows and arrows or crossbows at the ready, and just very keen-sighted, and just pass over you and go and just they seem to be making sure that this area is protected. The gate is down, but with a shout from Fariso, the gate starts to rise with a ting, 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 from the inside. This grating of metal on metal, and this large black gate slowly rises. Yes.
I just want to keep an eye out for somewhere I can get bugs.
Sure. Yeah.
Is there like
noted
soil, or even I don't know why there would be a shop, like a potion shop maybe. I would think that there would be ingredients in a potion or something like that.
Yep.
But
so far, you haven't come across potion shops specifically. Gardens and trees, yes, up until this point. Small gardens, in private homes, however, fenced off.
How far away though?
They were probably, from where you were sort of being led towards, they were probably only about a half a block away, not far.
Oh, okay. Not within like 30 feet or 60 feet?
No, certainly not.
Okay.
But within the courtyard, there is a lush garden. You notice as you start to walk across the bridge, this bridge that's probably a good 10 to 15 meters wide, that are also manned by about 20 guards on each side, a lot more well dressed than the Shan Watch. These beings have full plated armor on, and they have also a plume of light blue and a crest of 3 towers, and these swords at the top of them that are crisscrossed. So the mark of Shan, the official one. As you walk across, they turn from being front to side with a just the precision is so impressive. One fluid movement as you walk past, 2 on each side.
Who's the most out of time?
Make a perception check.
As we march along,
No one.
That's a 10.
No one.
As we march along, I'm gonna say to Farizo, "It's a good thing you were here to protect the king. I don't know what he would have done without you. He would have been defenseless." Punctuate that as they turn to him.
Okay. He doesn't reply, and also he doesn't break his gait as he continues through. You don't really. I mean, you're slightly behind him. He is leading, so you don't get any inkling of any sort of reaction, as it were.
If we're looking at like a marching order, by the way, I would have been like, being that like I went up to Farizo at the start and I was like, "Let's go." I probably would have been like a step or so behind him.
Yep.
Just in case I pick up on anything.
Fair enough. That perception check I'd have to probably put in line with what you'd noticed at the time, since it happened quite soon,
Yeah,
and nothing is revealed.
I'd be just trying to keep next to Rook, trying to grab his hand and just, hey.
Dench, I thought you were Osei.
I'll say something to you.
What is it?
Come here.
What happened?
You look really good right now.
Thank you. No one's ever really taken notice, but now's not the time, I think.
There's always a time for love. I could hold you. I could hold you when it's raining outside.
Is this an old rain reference?
Keep you warm.
Well, that's nice and lovely and all, but I feel that King Boronel's health is
each other.
taking priority right now.
Do I hear this?
Yes.
Do we all hear this?
Oh, are you trying to be soft,
I'm
softly spoken? Then yes.
I'm talking directly to Rook, but I'm professing my love to you.
Then yes, you
Worry
will
not,
hear
Rook.
this.
There's plenty of time. We have all the time in the world for this. I can just go and heal the king. You stay here. We'll find a floor.
We live a dangerous life. We could all die tomorrow.
You're right.
I don't know how much time I have with this man.
You're damn right. You two should seize
Starts
the
to
day.
tear up.
Seize the day.
Carpe diem.
What does that mean?
Seize
What's
the day.
Marisa doing if he hears this?
He is not stopping. He's again not really taking any notice. He seems to be quite focused as he continues through.
I'm just gonna be doing this like.
Yeah.
Dench,
Seize the day.
I appreciate that, but I think what I've done has had maybe some adverse effects. So just I pat him on the back. Keep your mind at ease and oh god, I just walk forward.
Can you not see it pains me to be rebuked by you?
I'm still like put my head down, shaking my head.
This feeling burns with the radiance of 1,000 suns.
How's Osei?
Yeah.
Through all of that.
All she's doing, taking up the back of the group. She has her arms
She's
folded.
dropped his arm.
She's got her arms folded now, and she's sort of looking half curiously.
Ruined.
It's a mixture of curious, amused, and a bit annoyed. Her features have changed back to what looked to be what you notice, I say, to be in a calm state. The pale face has lessened slightly. No more fangs, as it were. The bloodshot eyes are now gone, and she looks a lot more human. And she sort of just making little sounds of frustration.
Am I still within reach of Osei, or have I gone off by now?
You're a bit in front of her.
Do I notice this?
Yeah.
I turn to Osei with my head like down. So if you'd like to follow with me, we'd like to have a conversation with you briefly, and I'll get us both on track to head towards Friezo.
Okay.
And I'll chat to her.
All right. She's up front.
So you single?
So
ASL? Question mark.
Oh my god.
prior to
She's like 500 years old.
Dench's outburst, I do have the feeling he was maybe interested in you, and I thought I'd give him a hand, and I pull out the potion, or the cologne, and show it to her. I believe this had a reversed effect on him for me.
What is it?
I actually just thought it was cologne. But I was told at the vendor that it would help with actually don't remember.
He did mention to you that it was an extremely strong love potion.
Did he? I've been using it on myself though.
You haven't described that to me.
I think I failed my rolls though. That's what.
But you also haven't.
Passed my rolls.
I don't know whether you did. You
Now
I probably can't remember. But if you did,
You love yourself so much.
it didn't seem to have an effect on you.
Yeah. Okay.
Make an Arcana check.
That's why he's so charismatic lately. He's so in love with himself.
Man, I feel good today. Arcana 6.
6.
Yeah.
You're not quite sure. You're not quite sure why it hasn't affected you, but it hasn't. And but you do remember the shopkeep mentioning its potency. Yes.
Yeah. Okay.
But not to your understanding. There might be more to this than simply just putting it on yourself. Now that you can see what effect it has had on Dench.
So I tell you this somewhat ashamed, as I believe I didn't intend any of that. Or had I known of the potency of it, I wouldn't have used it.
Well, I do not have the magic to undo this. Perhaps Fariso will. I was simply here to have a bit of fun. That was all my intention. I was not in love. I was not enamored. So not to worry there, Rook.
Well, I may have.
She's got the hammer.
Well, shall I ask Fariso if he can undo this?
I'll ask.
Can we hear this? Can we
Yeah,
hear
yeah.
this happening? If I hear that conversation start to happen, I'm going to say in Fariso's head, please do not undo this love potion. Please.
Make a persuasion check.
Could I hear all this
Too
happening?
much joy.
Was that?
Could I hear all this happening?
Yep.
Don't take this feeling away from me! This is real!
5.
You don't hear a reply, and you don't hear you don't see Friso stop or change direction or do anything to appease you. The courtyard in question is small, and it's on the right hand side, and you can see a pathway through the gate that leads to an enormous pair of doors, arch doors that are open. And you notice above you this enormous wall that makes up the beginning of this castle, and you feel underneath you a very slight, as though you're on an enormous ship in calm water. You can feel a very soft floating feeling that the castle, as though the castle itself is sort of steering along the ocean. And this right hand small garden is being occupied by also a stable where about 10 or 12 horses are being kept by and tended to. And you notice that this garden has a couple of nobles in very beautiful dress of whites and pinks reading and also scribing. There is a small garden bed that seems to have or house fresh vegetables that are growing, and a garden keeper that seems to be tending to them with bare hands. This tall older gentleman is sort of with these very long ears and pointed, seems to be sort of digging in the dirt, planting some seeds. On the left hand side you see a 3 targets of straw, and you can see that there are some guardsmen in this full plate armor practicing with crossbows and bows to hit the targets. As Fariso continues to move inside, internal to this castle is initially a massive hall. It rises above you about 3.5 stories before there is a roof that is so beautifully painted with scenes of Corvair, of blue skies with these lovely clouds on one side, and on the other, stretching throughout this entire hall, there seems to be every facet of Corvarian life, from a tavern which is beautifully painted in browns and maroons and reds that depict fire, like a fireplace. People that are in a still life of drinking and being merry. You see on another side 2 armies that seem to be side by side and allied, of Brellish make, and also one of Onder next to it, that are side by side, brothers in arms. These beautiful silver streaks of paint dried, making the weapons really stand out, of spears, halberds, 2-handed swords. You notice that this is the most colourful piece of art you've ever seen, and certainly the most gigantic. A beautiful violin is playing and echoing through this hall. You can also see that there are paintings and tapestries on each side. This hall itself, though, is fairly bare. It has quite a large fireplace on one side, a small desk on the left-hand side of sort of a semicircle that seems to have a few people that are directing nobles in and out. Messengers are scurrying back and forth. You notice then on either side an enormous stairway going up on one and then the other side that leads up into the wall. That doesn't seem to have there are no balconies or anything above you, so you're not quite sure where these lead. But Frieza takes the right, and he starts to make his way upward. Does anyone want to do anything else at the moment?
What's this song on the violin?
The song, if you listen carefully as you are making your way across, it seems to be a lively tune of... It's simply... You recognize the name of the song to be The Shan Life, and it's a trading song. It does have words to it, but this one in particular, there's no one singing. It's simply the instrumental version. It just, you recall the words depicting trade and good bartering and a fair go with its citizens.
Doesn't sound like the song.
It's a Shana
No.
life for us.
It went.
Fantastic. And you would be proud. So,
Would she?
no. Anyone else want to do
Is
anything?
Annie okay?
Ha.
Ha.
Anyone else want to do anything?
Nah.
Can I catch Frieza?
Mm-hmm.
In your arms?
So maybe I should put some.
Yay! Now you know.
Frieza, we have a
Oh
unexpected
my god,
problem.
imagine if you threw that at Bicelu. I can never say a name.
What is it?
One that should hopefully be quickly dealt with next success.
Bicelu.
And that is?
And I point to Dench.
Bicelu.
I'm just
I'm tired. I have done much to try and protect and concentrate on this protection spell on King Boronel. If I try and heal Dench, there is a possibility that my concentration will break.
My question then to you is, while Dench is underneath his effects, can you identify it? Is he charmed? Or?
Can you fix this?
Looking over at him, he sort of nods at you and says, "Yes, quite powerfully. It seems as though this thing you possess, or that he is possessing him, will not stop for at least a day."
If we're to encounter trouble,
He will be useless.
can I command him?
If you'd like, you would probably go whichever way you chose. This sort of thing is not easily broken. If you were in danger, he'd likely put himself in harm's way for you, without you even asking.
I don't want to put King Boronel's life at risk, but I need to know how to manipulate Dench if something happens.
Wow.
gaslighting him.
Well, a quick way you could do this is possibly striking him with your sword or crossbow or bow. That might do the trick. It may have to be a fairly powerful blow, though.
Shit. Just stab him in the gut.
As you all start to go up the stairs of this gorgeous bronze marble, this bronze metal staircase that is on either side has these beautiful wooden railings that you can hold on to on your way up. It sort of curves, the stairway curves inward and then out. On either side, just a closed staircase where there's many pictures depicting the Ilwanan family and its history, and beautiful scenery of hills and oceans, and markings of other houses as well. He leads you up further, past other staircases, and in probably only a minute or two, you are completely lost as you go down a corridor, up another staircase, into another, up and around the corner onto a balcony where you no longer see this hall anymore, and you go up some more. You then get put onto a platform which rises, a similar, familiar, but much smaller platform that other places in Shan go up and down between towers.
I'm going to look over Rook and say, you could push him.
I don't want to kill him tomorrow. I'm thinking maybe I should challenge him with this fight. For my love.
As you land, you look down and you see a large hallway, a marble tiled floor of the same or a similar looking colour, like a bronze colour, but certainly tiled, and on either side just this light blue curtain. Friso leads you down a little bit further, and the sound of the violin still echoes softly through these halls. The paintings, the torches that light up this place are still grand, but in a much smaller scale. Friso stops after a minute down this hall and knocks on quite a large door of red. You hear this. Anyone know Undercommon?
I know Common.
I also know Common.
You hear a voice, feminine, but you don't understand what is said, as Friso takes a moment and then opens the door and walks in. Inside is not really what you might have expected from a grand royal chamber. It looks almost like a separate, smaller room, but just as lavish. You can see a double bed, and propped up in the bed with red velvet or silk, you're not quite sure, sheeting and blanket, and with this gold nimbus around the bed entirely, is the king. His eyes sort of droop down. Around the room you see a desk, quite a large rectangular desk, made of another fine varnished wood, that seems to have a mirror and lots of paperwork. You see on the other side a small basin, what seems to have with a lever, possibly running water with a faucet. You notice a couple of doors that might lead to other areas of this particular level, and you smell light rosemary and other light herbs in the air.
Go on, go help him.
Turn to Friso. Can I pass through this nimbus?
I'd much prefer to lower it when I'm in the room, so yes, I will cease its effects in a moment. Please, I would like to introduce you. And coming around just into view, as though she was invisible and now visible again, is a tall, one-armed drow. This other arm completely missing. She's wearing this high-necked, light and dark purple and black robe, which has these crinkles, these crinkles that go down into a very tight-fitting bottom. These high heels as well that are gem encrusted with amethysts. She seems to be also holding this wooden staff that at the end of it is this enormous purple and white rock. Her features are, as you would normally see in any drow, this high brow, these high cheekbones, thin face, light purple. Osei sort of looks over and gives her a bit of a curious look. These dark eyes that are wide and go almost all the way around her head. These eyelashes, long, thin, pointed nose. In common, she says, "Good to meet you." Well, finally. Feriso, they look strong. They look worthy.
Fritho said you needed a hand.
Thorn laughs.
I think you meant assistance.
That's exactly what I said.
Shit. That was good.
Did you just get it?
I just got it.
I've been waiting for you to finish describing her so I could describe her. As soon as you said she's missing, I was like, oh, I'm going to bring it up. I'm going to bring it up.
Amazing. She says to you all, and as she looks toward you, you can see these thin lips that have like this dark, almost black lipstick on. As her mouth moves, she says, "I do need assistance. It is a battlefield in Corona Peak. Be warned. Where you go next, you probably won't survive."
That's encouraging.
Maybe we should stay here.
Yes.
Can I ask a question? DM question? Or it's an in-character question. Yeah. Was there a prophecy that mentioned us going into a war and all dying?
Yes.
Like on a battlefield?
On a battlefield.
Good. Thank you.
Hey, this is how we start campaign 2.
So, I give you some time to prepare. Take your time. Perhaps visit your loved ones if you have any here.
I currently only have one.
As you watch Dench start to put his arm, like meaty, muscular arms around you, Rook.
Love that.
Sensual grapple.
All 3.
Say your goodbyes. Purchase what you need. Perhaps find something new that you can learn before you go. Take as much power with you as you can.
Has she mentioned her name yet?
So, once you help the king, then go do these things. And then we will be ready for you to go. Are we agreeable?
Why are we going? What would you have us do when we get there?
I hope that you can find she who is matron, the matron of the drow. And if you kill her, then we are all saved.
What's her name?
Her name is Vidasq.
I heard this name before, aside from in a text.
What?
Make an Arcana check. Or no, go history. Go history.
I was kind of hoping that you were going to say by saying his name, and we could be like, oh, it's one of those things in a game where you've already done the quest before you start it. Perfect.
And then that question mark is just there, ready to be handed in. Yeah.
7.
7? Not heard of it. She continues. She says, she is surrounded by the very best of her family. She holds the key to ending the Red Death. I should know. I am her sister. So,
why don't you kill her then?
I have tried. And I have failed.
Is that... And I just stopped mid-sentence and I look at her missing arm.
Yes. It is... I am Vala.
I'm gonna be like, during this entire conversation, I want to be like looking back at Farizo and trying to gauge any sort of
insight.
Did you say roll low really quietly? No? That's what you did. I just heard my inner monologue in your voice. 19.
19? Okay. From what you can tell, his eyes are locked onto Vala, and he seems to be concentrating on her every word, and he's showing nothing of anything apart from what I've shown.
Yeah.
I've shown you already.
Yeah.
And why will killing her save us all? Is she the source of this disease?
She is.
You tell me this disease is more... It requires her... It's a spell. It requires her concentration. It's not just to manifest and maintain actively.
It is in her very essence. It flows out of her like a tide of death, of impossibility.
Well, good thing I'm immune to disease.
Is this something she can control, or is this does it just happen? Was this something she was born with, or did she create this?
She, with others, created this.
Why?
Short-sightedness. Malice.
Can she be reasoned with?
You can try. You can absolutely. For my heart is still loving her as a sister. And so, if you can, I would be most grateful. But I am under no illusion. She will not be easy to convince. Her best guards are surrounding her. Magic, traps, powerful beings under her suggestion follow her. And just even before that, you have to get through the battle which rages there between these dwarves and her army.
Will you accompany us?
She simply nods.
Very well. I turn to the others. Do any of you have any more questions for her before I...
I don't know. This sounds like a handful.
Are you certain that killing this woman will end this curse and save King Baranel?
Well, from what I hear, King Baranel will be saved now.
Yes.
But to prevent further spread. I believe so.
By this point, while I'm hugging Rook, I've hunched over so my chin's leaning on his shoulder. Good question, babe.
Oh my god.
Thank you. He feels my shoulders sink with that.
So, you can prepare. You can prepare what you need. Purchase anything you can that may help prevent your suffering there.
Where's the closest Tuscalanda tavern?
Friso speaks up.
If we need to rest before we go.
Are you saying that last bit? He says, you can stay here. There are guest quarters.
We're going shopping, would we not just stay somewhere that we go shopping?
You're more than welcome to. Then I do not know all the inns. Just ask a passing guard. They can tell you if you're in that area.
That's a good question. Alright. Do you not have stock of armaments and arms for us to take to the battlefield from this castle?
We do, but they are non-magical. And by the look of you all, and by the dangers ahead, it might be something to collect.
This is a Preston question. Did we get a crap load of money and not divvy that up yet? Was that a thing?
Huh?
I think Sheldon might have it.
No,
Yeah.
I don't have it.
Well, I have the bag
Maybe-
of holding, actually. So does that mean I have it? I never gave that back to you.
No, I think, if I'm not mistaken, that a huge chunk of that cash was with Barclays. He was carrying that.
Did he not give it to us?
No,
He didn't actually about it, no.
Oh, it's okay. I can find him. I'll just scry on him.
So,
Fuck.
with that, you watch as Friso waves his hand, and you can see these strands of golden light that are emanating from his fingertips, all 5 of them. His entire hand suddenly glows brightly, and you watch as these are almost like fireflies surrounding King Borinel, but pure gold and like tinsel. They start to dissipate. The egg surrounding this bed of light shimmers away. And as you see this happening, you all suddenly find yourselves taking a quick step back as King Borinel, his face is much worse than what you saw him. His entire right side, you can see small buzzings of flies that are picking at this rotting skin. His left eye is drooping out. You can see that the rest of his body is covered by either a bed sheet or
Good.
or clothing.
Good.
But his hands are peeking through, and that's the skin on that's peeling off. You don't see any fingernails at all.
Could you not have kept the flies from his face?
Before he can reply, you watch as, in extremely quick movement, and King Borinel leaps out and lunges and takes one step on the bed and jumps, and his hands are outstretched and they go for Friso.
I see. My apologies.
And that's where we'll take our 10-minute break.
Yeah.
So we are at 8:48. We'll come back at 8:58. Once again, sorry for the late break.
The late date.
Yes, we'll be back in 10 minutes. We will see everybody then, and we're going to draw the dice.
Wow.
All right.
Is it this one?
We're gonna draw them.
We're gonna physically draw them. We have dice to give away. We'll see you guys soon. Welcome back, everybody. Benvenuti. And yeah, I don't know if we're doing something special now. Just
trying to get it to load.
That's okay. That's right. No problem at all.
Benvenuti.
Huh?
Benvenuti.
Oh, Ben.
Went uti.
Venuti.
Ben went uti.
Oh, he did go uti. That's I got that. I'm a bit slow tonight, aren't I?
It's okay.
Thanks everybody for joining us again for the second half. We're just about to reveal the winner of our amazing rainbow dice.
When the hat loads, we're gonna announce it.
Internet related issues. In the meantime, if you have the points, you're welcome to now have me drink this very, very strong drink.
Yes.
And we can
ginger beer.
hydrate. Yeah. So we'll see how that
There's a
goes.
couple of dancers that have been.
Wonder who made that up.
Hasn't,
A very strong drink.
Couple of dancers that what?
but weren't actually danced to. I could be.
Oh, if you
How do you see who the ownership of the dance is? Do they chat it or do they?
I guess they need to chat it.
They chat it.
Yeah, they'd need to.
I thought it was you. I saw
It was not.
Yeah, Rook, you missed out. You lucky escape artist. You didn't get to do the dance or make it a little look either.
I guess that also backfired.
That's right.
Actually, maybe there's a trend here. Maybe I shouldn't get in combat tonight.
If you're living in Quebec,
that was a question we actually had.
is that right?
Yeah.
Oh my goodness.
By who?
Well, apologies.
A Quebecian.
We might not be able to ship if you do
That
win.
was in the rules.
Yeah, it was. Yeah.
Okay,
So.
we have a winner. I'm
Oh.
gonna send it to someone to announce. Who wants to announce it?
I don't care.
Huh? Michele wants to. I can see it in his eyes.
No,
No.
I was just getting ready in
Dench.
case you did bring it over.
Dench? Okay, Dench can.
Don't send it to me because my phone is charging.
I won't.
Send it to me and I'll give it to Dench to read.
Hey, you remind us of what these are. The team is with.
Like a rainbow in the dark. Rainbow in the dark. Cracking dice.
Beautiful.
They're a 14-piece set. You get 4 D20s. You get a little D2. You get some D6, and they're essentially like a clear. They're like a clear dice with rainbow glitter through them, and like a smoky little.
They're very cool.
Smoky little thing.
Smoky boys.
And the winner is, we had over 60 entries to this.
Thank you so much for entering.
Thank you.
Yes.
The winner is.
Crit happens, YT.
Hey.
I think it's Crit Happens White.
I think it's YouTube.
Okay.
Crit Happens YT, we're going to DM you and grab your details so we can get these shipped out for you. Congratulations, our next giveaway will be at 1,000.
I mean, we could. I don't know whether let's chat about
Let's
this,
chat
and
about it later.
next week we'll put up another
Twin.
Yeah, another idea as to the when. Congratulations.
Thank you so much, everybody.
Also, great handle. Crit happens.
Yeah, Crit happens. Let's
It's
get
a good
one
one.
in this game.
I feel like I've heard of that before.
So, just a quick one. 4 people redeemed Hydrate, so we're all going to have 4 sips of our drink.
Thank you to Crit Happens. Wow.
I mean, I could really keep
Never
going, but
again.
pace myself. Unless you want to, redeem it.
Good to start.
Lovely. Well, with that excitement, we will delve back into the second half. So, bringing it back in. At the point where King Borinel suddenly leaps out of his bed with a growl and a yell and lunges towards Fariso, you see the king suddenly slam against something invisible, like a wall directly in front of Fariso, who quickly raises his other hand, and the king spouts blood from his forehead and just ricochets off onto the floor in a clump, in a heap.
Is the blood from the impact or just like some
The
weird...
impact. Yeah.
Can I just, while I'm holding Rook, just turn to shield him from anything and just cover him. Just crash him to the
Are
ground.
you
and
resisting
cover him.
this, Rook?
I'm okay, Dench. It's fine.
No one will come to you.
Thank you.
Is he just lying on the ground?
He's starting to get back up again.
Alright, I'm gonna take my mace out. And so with my bare hand, I'm gonna pick up that mace and hold it out in front of me, straight ahead. In my mind, I'm gonna try and speak to the inhabitant of my mace and just say, I hope you can heal him.
Make a wisdom check for me.
Hope you can.
It's a 16.
A 16? Okay. As you hold out this long golden mace encrusted with rubies and sapphires and emeralds in flat glassed beauty. This dragon head has two, one ruby and one emerald eye that are embedded within the gold on the outside, and you watch as both of them start glowing their respective colors. In your mind you hear a familiar voice, Doribaliux, the Coatl. Ado speaks and moves through you. He will listen now.
It's good enough for me. I'm going to thrust the mace. I said it out loud, and I'm going to thrust the mace into the king's chest without the intention to, kill him.
You're doing it fairly forcefully, though?
Enough that I want to pin him down to the ground with it. I don't want him getting up and slapping me with his zombie hand.
Make a strength check for me, please.
Ah, 11.
11, okay. As you just with one hand push this frail king with this small golden circlet around his head of matted, dried blood hair, the hair falling out, you see that his one hand goes around the top of the hilt, the other does as well, and he's attempting to pull it aside, but you hold steady and then push forward more as he goes onto his back, and he's just just growling and shifting and trying to get away. You see this red gold light surround him, slowly moving around his entire body as you can feel the power of Ado flow into him, and you watch slowly, but almost as though each part of this is happening purposefully, as it highlights his hair suddenly starts to grow back. His skin, his flesh starts to heal over. A bit of dried, matted blood dissipates. You watch as this beardless chin starts to now grow with this familiar black mass of hair. His eyes, once glazed white, are now dark again. And after probably about 15 or 20 seconds, this light fades from the mace, and you watch as the hands, the shoulders, the neck, the skin is now without wounds. One last and the king rises slowly, one hand on the ground and then the other hand on the bed, as he lifts himself up from the end of the bed, and
I'll give him a hand up.
Yep, with your dragonborn strong arm, you lift him slowly, carefully, but firmly up, and he sort of staggers once. Little room. And he, with you still holding him, he sort of staggers and falls backward, and he lands on the bed. It sort of jumps or bounces once, and he sort of suddenly goes completely pale. As the blood drains out of him, he's weak, as he just lies there breathing slowly. Friso immediately goes over to the basin, gets a bit of water into a cup, into a sort of almost a goblet, and pours it into the mouth of Boronel, and he sort of splutters down, the water going around his face, but down his gullet as well, as he drinks. Thank you. Is it done? Is it? I feel tired. Is it done?
Yes, it's done. As far as I can tell, there are less flies eating your face, so that's an improvement.
He sort of gives a knowing nod towards you. And where do you get this magic?
It comes to me through Ado.
Interesting. A generous god.
Yes.
A giving god.
A just god.
Well, I thank him. Her. It.
They.
Well, he sort of sits himself up on the edge of the bed as Friso suddenly goes to one knee, his head bowed. My king. And he stays there as the drow, Vala, also kneels, dips her head slightly less, and sort of gives a nod. The king looks at her, looks at Friso, looks at you all.
We bowed when we came in.
It is all right. What's next?
We have been tasked with going north to some mountain. Sorry, my apologies. What was the name of the mountains?
The Maror Holds.
The Maror Holds.
Specifically, so Corona Peak, just so you're all aware, is in the Iron Root Mountains, near the border of Karnath.
To slay the sister of your visitor and rid the land of this plague.
Well, yes?
Are you saying Corona?
Corona.
Oh,
Corona Peak.
I was like, there's a disease at the Corona Peak. Okay.
Krona.
Corona. Okay.
Fair enough, though.
Yeah.
So,
It's an Aussie accent.
Like, this is not ever.
this is
Australia right now.
Can I just take a stock of the room?
Yeah.
Is there anyone else in here?
Looking around, you see Vala, you see Friso, and you see your companions. No one else.
No one. Like, not guards, nothing.
It's a fairly small room. It seems to have probably only about a 7 foot by 7 foot. It's fairly tiny. Sorry, not 7. Probably 20 by 20.
I was going to say, it's a very small room. Okay.
And you didn't see any guards on the way in either, no. Like, in that hallway, none.
I would like to just quietly, off to the side, I'm going to cast Detect Thoughts.
Yep. On whom?
Do it on Dench!
So hot. I have the ability to concentrate on this spell for a period of time.
Sure.
So I'm just gonna like use it, sort of like a, I don't know what the right word is, like a radar, like a metal detector. And I'm just trying to like clock different people in the room and their emotional states, but also I'm avoiding Dench. I'm trying to like also just like blank spots in the room. I just want to like.
Oh, okay.
Just to see if there is a being there, because I can use this as a way of like person detecting as well.
Sure.
The range. So here's the part that I'm specifically focusing on. You can also use this spell to detect the presence of a thinking creature you can't see. You can cast the spell, or as an action during the duration, you can search for thoughts within 30 feet of you.
Yep.
The spell can penetrate barriers no further than 2 feet of rock, 2 inches of metal or any other lead, or a thin sheet of lead blocks.
Yeah.
You can't detect a creature with an intelligence of 3 or lower.
Sure. Okay.
They dumb.
And the surface thoughts, yes. So
so
emotions.
the initial one is the surface thoughts of what's on its mind in that moment.
Yep. Okay. And they know that you're doing this.
No, unless I push deeper.
Then they don't need to make a saving throw against that first initial thought. Okay, that's fine. Just want to make sure. So, as you pass over your party, and obviously avoiding Dench, it's sort of your focus I think of it like a small sun. It goes like this.
Yeah. Or just really fast past Dench.
Yeah. You get a brief glimpse of infatuation straight away.
What is it?
So you might have copped a little.
Noticing Senpai.
Dench is just thinking about like him and Rook running off and leaving all this behind, finding a cabin.
Perfect.
And then the
That's all I get.
flick is he's thinking how good this room smells from the description before, and he's like, "Oh, we should get these candles for our room."
Yeah, good.
What are you thinking, Thorum?
I'm thinking I'm about to irritate Fabrizio quite a bit.
By mispronouncing his name? Or?
Yeah.
Cool.
What are you thinking, Amara? What would be some initial in the moment thoughts?
I don't want to go.
That's okay. If you want to maybe.
No, that's what she's thinking.
Oh, I see. Okay.
I don't want to go.
Okay.
I'm worried. Prophecy.
And Rook?
Yeah.
Yep.
Just a deep sigh.
Yeah, that's all you hear.
Alright.
He's quite amazed of what's happened with the mace, but at the same time, it's distracting having Dench all
hang off him.
Yeah.
Sure. Okay. You then pass your thought spell over King Borinel, and you get the sense that there is utter relief, happiness, but then some worry. He's thinking, how have my people been? Have they been happy? Has there been chaos in the city? Things like thoughts like that.
There have, but
Your thoughts then pass over Fariso, and you get the sense that there is some initial thoughts of who is behind this. Why was there this creature rampaging through the city? But I am glad that the king is safe.
okay, so this is a weird question to ask because I'm reading someone's thoughts. But do I get the sense that these are real thoughts?
The spell does imply you'll be detecting the real thoughts. Well, that's what I gather anyway. As far as you can tell, there's no shielding from this from anyone yet, or misdirection either.
Okay, all right. All right, that's fine.
And then the last is Vala, and her thought, the drow, and her thought is, they must make haste. But I'd much prefer they killed my sister.
True love. So I don't I'm gonna pace the room as I do this for a minute and do the extremities. There's nothing even close to the room that's...
No other thought greets you. There's no one else in this room, in the parts of the room that you have concentrated on, which is by the spell's end, it will probably be most of it.
Okay.
You even go to the effect of looking up and making sure the ceiling is covered too.
Okay.
So, while Gunn is doing that, anyone want to do anything?
Frizzo, what are you going to be up to after this?
Investigating the... He stands back up, by the way. Investigating the why behind this warforged creature. I am concerned about why it's here, why it was here, why it was built. I will also talk back to the rest of the 12 to see what their thoughts are.
And you feel going to the Mora Holds to where this battle takes place takes precedence over the protection of the Shan?
I will stay here. I will protect Shan. That's my duty.
And what of King Brona?
I will leave him in the capable hands of his guard now that he is up and walking and able to, or just able.
And should Malestra return to his side?
Well, I can go back to Arcanix then. Perhaps discover a bit more why the Shadow Marshes and Valinor have... there seems to be word of some weird happenings there that I need to investigate.
Is the king awake?
He is. His eyes are sort of droopy and they're very tired looking, but he is certainly conscious.
I'm going to look to him and say, what have you heard of the attack today?
It's as though I was dreaming. I remember not a lot from when I first got this illness. I don't know what you mean.
Shan was attacked by an enormous monster, a warforged, or a huge mechanical warforged, piloted by smaller ones. Hundreds of your citizens are dead. The city is in alarm.
He looks over to Faris and says, "Call back Malestra immediately. Send anyone else from the 12 you can. Do we have..." And before he finishes the sentence, Farisa says, "House Tarasco is on here." Yes, and they are assisting. The guards are making sure that no one is going to that site.
I look to him and say, do you know who defeated him? Defeated this monster?
He sort of shakes his head. I'm assuming it has been put down then.
It has. By my companions and I.
You have the thanks of a king. And the thanks of a city. The grandest of cities.
I turn to him and say, while those thanks are quite valuable, they mean very little to the woman I saw torn in half in the street.
Thanks don't pay the bills.
I gesture to Farito. Rather than face this monster, he came here to protect you.
Well,
would it not be better if you contented yourself with the protection that you have and direct the 12 outwards?
I do not direct the 12, Thorin. I advise. And if Fariso's intention was to make sure I am safe, I'm very grateful.
I'm gonna leave the room at this point.
Okay. Amara, you walk out of the room and close the door behind you.
Really?
No, just had enough of the conversation.
If Fariso decided that his best place was here, then I submit to his wisdom. I was incapacitated. I am grateful for his aid, and I am grateful for yours. I do not speak for him.
I stand and say, there were whispers in the crowds that surrounded us. He doesn't know. I don't know. There were whispers. They weren't speaking of the Shan Guard, or they weren't speaking of their king, or the heir who was returning to the city. They were speaking of us, and that is not good for anyone.
Why?
Why? Because the absence was conspicuous.
Shan, as a people, rely on its guards. It relies on mercenaries. It relies on soldiers of Shan to protect it. They do not look up and expect the 12 to suddenly ride on gallant dragons to save the day. In fact, I would ask if you can speak to any citizen that even knows his name. They're not here to be famous. Like Thorum's 5, they're here as humble servants to protect Corvair and its greater good. Wow. Your understanding of their power, Thorum, if they had a mind, the crown would not be on my head. It would be on theirs. They choose not to, however.
Perhaps you are right, but they weren't speaking of Thorum's 5, Your Majesty. They were speaking of the 5. And I leave.
As you leave, you get a glimpse of just a bit of an acknowledgement from the king, a bit of a nodding on the head as he watches you turn and sort of walk out.
Can I just say, if you're thankful for what we've done, why are you sending us into more harm? I honestly don't feel like I'm appreciated.
I need to be paid better.
Well, it's not just that. Like,
I'm not there.
We're just being hurdled. I felt someone rebuttal, but I'm gonna reply to them. But like, you're just sending us from one side of the continent to the other with very little to no, like, notice, and we're not like some super task force. We're just a bunch of people that happen to find each other. I don't feel like I'm appreciated. I don't feel like you're grateful. It feels like I'm being used.
King Baronel sort of stands at this point and sort of stretches out his shoulders a little and says, "You defeated the warforged. I hear that is a mighty task. What else have you done?"
We defeated Baisalu. We stopped the Red Death so far.
Baisalu. Was of the Venerables.
Yes. She was in league. Friezo knows this. He was there. Why hasn't he told you this?
He's advised.
She was in league with some kind of crazy powerful demon monster.
Frazo Blue, yes.
We're also fighting against the warforged to stop them from bringing back Tiamat. Like, we're just juggling so much. And then you ask us more.
I understand. If it was your way, Gunnar, what would you ask of us? Your name can be sung.
Show some support. I don't need songs. What are you guys doing to help? Because right now I don't see anything. All I see is... And I'm not going to finish the sentence.
Very well. Very well, Gunnar. Perhaps we can shed light for you as to see what we're doing. As we speak, Fariso, under my command, has mustered the Brelish army, and it is marching thousands of my soldiers towards and to meet the Warforged.
I think you're too late. I've seen them.
We have lost them for a while, but we are making haste.
I know where they are.
With the help of the 12, we are getting faster. We know it's their destination as well.
You do? How?
We follow their tracks.
So why did Frizo ask me to help find them then? Right before this thing attacked, he asked me to help find them.
Before the
what is it called?
The construct.
The construct, the giant warforged that attacked Sharn. Right before it attacked, I was in the middle of locating them.
We didn't have specifics until you helped with that task.
I haven't told anyone yet. I haven't given any information to anyone.
And you say you're here to help.
Yes.
You have done much already. You and the 5. If you want to know what we're doing, we have sent out the Brelish army. We've sent envoys to the other countries to let them know of the reason why we have mustered.
And what are you doing about this woman?
Can I? Well, Gunnar's essentially grilling King Brawl now.
Check it out.
Or now. Can I do like a perception check on Frieza? Is he looking nervous at all? Or?
Inside check. Sure.
Roll high.
It's not gonna happen. No.
Does he get inspiration from my cuddles?
If anything, it would be
Puts him off.
He is so distracted that it might be disadvantaged. But I'll let you with the straight roll.
Look, it's not gonna help survive.
You can't read Fariso at the moment. He's very intent on the discussion, and he's not giving anything away. He continues. King Baronel says, "We are also close to understanding a bit more about this Red Death. I have my alchemists attempting to find a cure for this.
We have one.
It seems, as admirable as it is, so far through him, it looks like he can only offer one healing at a time. I have my alchemist attempting to create a cure en masse. Is this what you want to hear, Gunnar? That I am doing my part to try and aid, or is it a reward you want? I can offer that too.
I think you could better support us.
How? By offering...
That's something that you need to figure out. You shouldn't have to ask the question. You should just know.
I do not know you very well, however. I don't know what you possess, what magical abilities,
well, that's
and
a
what
start.
you lack as well.
That's a start. Maybe getting to know us a bit better before you ask us to do these immense tasks.
So I do not...
You don't buy me gifts. You don't tell me I'm pretty.
I don't instruct you like I do other mercenaries in. Is that correct? You do not simply accept gold and be on your way?
We haven't even done that, really.
You seem to not have been put out too much by it, it seems. By your dress and some magic that you've attained.
Are you saying that just because we dress well that we don't deserve what's coming to us?
Not at all.
Okay.
But I'd like to know what the payment is.
I think that's for you to decide. You're the king.
I have something.
Slow clap.
I have something that you might...
I think you've got a lot of things.
I do. I have a great many.
There's a world hunger out there. No.
But what I do not have is too much influence over my people. I cannot ask them to give up their belongings or their gold for you. I obviously have a treasury, but I think gold is something that you might be inclined to find in your adventures and your dangers quite easily. I do, however, a small way outside of Shan, I have a small home. It has land, servants. It's a good place. It's a tower adjoining a slight abode. It's in the forest. I wonder, the deed of the land and the home, were it to be put into your hands, and with your names, would that suffice? Would that help you make a base for your future endeavors?
That could help, actually. But, I mean, I was thinking more about helping us with tactics and getting us, like, for example, if we're going to be used like a scalpel to cut this woman out, a scalpel is not used to fight the entire battle. You put the scalpel right where it needs to be, and then that cuts it out. You're expecting us to fight our way all the way to this person without any support?
I'm not. She is.
But we're working together, aren't we?
She is the scalpel. If anything, she will guide you past these things. I have visited Chrono Peak, but I do not know its current situation. In this endeavor, in this endeavor specifically, Gunnar, I am a bit unsure, and that's why I take the advice from this drow.
Would I know of any special task forces or anything like that any of the countries would have that would be used for something like this, like an infiltration? Assassination.
Make a history check. In the meantime, while you do, what's everyone else doing at this point? You two are obviously outside the door. What are you guys doing?
Quite good.
How's it going
Quite
in there?
good.
Fritzo is probably pretty mad at me.
Yeah,
I'm gonna just bump
you
that up.
were grilling it pretty hard.
Yeah.
I get it.
Yeah, he sucks.
Oh, I don't think he sucks. I still appreciate Frizo.
Nah, he sucks.
I think you and I have different definition of sucks.
Yeah.
Shit. I don't know. I get very lost in that type of conversation. I don't really have a place in it. I don't want to go. Do you remember that prophecy?
Yes.
The one that we got that literally described us on a battlefield being killed by some like spider person.
That's the first one. That was, or the first one, or the one gave me a vision I was dead on a mountain.
Well, I mean,
Like this peak.
there was that one as well. I think mine was slightly different to yours.
Oh. So you saw us dead on a battlefield, and I saw us dead on a mountain.
That battlefield one, was that a group DM question? Was that a group vision prophecy, or was that no? We all saw this one.
Oh, no, sorry, that was just you. That particular
I
one.
only saw this one. Sorry.
But you were all in that vision.
Let me explain. Just in case I haven't actually told you. I saw a prophecy of us on a battlefield fighting death, blood, carnage all around us.
How was
And
I?
then us all dying.
Oh.
Every single one of us. And I know we've been lucky enough to escape the fate of the prophecies that we've had. That doesn't mean we're going to be that lucky every single time. And I don't know about you, but having someone tell me that I'm probably going to die, say goodbye to everyone I care about, isn't exactly inspiring me to go and fight. I'll give my life for a good cause, but not for a cause that I feel like is being set for me.
I also saw, when you saw that, had that vision, I saw us, thankfully already dead, on a mountaintop. So nobody suffered, at least, as far as I could tell.
Did you see how we died?
How broken up were we? Do I remember that?
You didn't see the way that you were killed, no.
It wasn't old age.
I know you have a lot of goals that you want to achieve in service of Ado before you die. Whether that be tomorrow, whether that be in years to come. I have things that I want to do before I die. And this doesn't feel like the cause to die for. Why are they sending 5 people? 4 people? 5 people? 6? Who's coming?
6 people.
7? Osei as well? I don't know. But it just doesn't seem... This seems... I have a bad feeling. And for the first time since I have met Farizo, I had a conversation with him where he lied. And I could tell that he lied. And I didn't like it.
My suspicion is that for the first time since you've met Farizo, you caught him lying. Not that it was the first time he lied to
That
us.
might be true, but it doesn't mean that the realization is any less hurtful.
Yes.
Because from all of the senses that I've gathered until that point, he's been pretty level with me.
Ever since the seed of doubt has been planted, I've been looking more and more suspiciously on the way he acts. Fripp is right. As soon as there's a call to action, he disappears. Look at this place. The king is untouchable. Hundreds of guards that we can see. Imagine what we can't see here. You saw the carnage on that street. One of the 12 could have clicked their fingers and put an end to that.
The one thing that I can't get my head around at the moment, and on the construct there was no sign of, from what Fripp described, insignia of the Lord of Blaze. I'll be saying this quieter, obviously, not just yelling it out. We've heard about maybe Farizo being involved with the Lord of Blaze. Then a warforged controls this giant construct that breaks through the streets of Shan.
And
He's a distraction.
And he disappears,
He disappears. Comes back when everything's okay again. And I don't know. I don't think Farizo's evil. I think Farizo...
She's misunderstood.
My understanding of Farizo so far is that sometimes to achieve the greater good there's collateral damage. I don't know if this was the case of collateral damage.
We're gonna have to kill Furito, aren't we?
I don't want to kill Frieza at all. I like Frieza.
I like him too. I just hope he's on our side. He does suck though.
He doesn't suck.
He's never there.
I'll teach you this game I know little Pegasus drop.
Oh, yeah.
He was there.
And we'll decide if he sucks based on the outcome of that game.
What's happening in the room while I'm learning? No, I want to learn the game, but what's happening while I learn that game?
As it's happening,
Gunner's grilling the king.
yes, you are. What was your next point of call, Gunner?
Well, I rolled a 29.
Yep.
For my history check.
Yep.
So,
So for the the infiltrators.
yeah, like I just want to understand, like, what type of resources would this king have at his disposal to aid in some kind of espionage type assassination attempt on someone who is pretty much like his counterpart in a different empire, whatever. Is that who this person is? This drow? Is she's the queen of the drow?
It seems like that's how it's being described to you.
Yeah. So this is a big deal. You don't just go around killing off, a queen without some serious thought put into it.
With your history check, you've known that kings of Breland in the past, through your readings, have hired a plentiful amount of people. But the one thing that is intelligent about these hirings is that no trace of it can go back to the king or the government. Now, with your research that you had done, or just stories in passing, you never know the name of the assassin or the organization. Mercenaries are really the title of those who have succeeded, and those who had failed, there's no continuation of their story. There had been one time where someone who had been caught by those that were its targets had revealed itself to be an offshoot of simply one of the assassination clans. It's in fact of House Falan in this particular case, and House Thurani, the houses of shadow. Houses that don't get acknowledged when you talk about the 12 houses of Corvair. Those two have the reputation in history to have assassins and killers for hire and extortionists and just very unruly types like that. So there's only really been one account to your memory that someone has revealed itself to be of that house. And kings do have, all over Corvair, not just in Breland, access, if they look hard enough, to hire such beings. And these particular beings are extremely skilled.
Would I remember, or have I come across in the last 20, 30 years, any, what's the right word? Any intel or knowledge of House Falan, given my prior history of it? You don't know. Specifically, can you not read my backstory, please? the Baron.
Let me just quickly bring something up for you.
Is it my backstory? I couldn't remember her name.
Let's go with this. Sorry, it won't be a second.
You're right.
Rook's here.
Do you guys want to do your thing? Talk to each other.
No, we're just
You're
playing
not
papers,
even in the
scissors,
room.
Yeah,
rock.
no, let's see it. Let's go. Let's go. Let's do
I
it.
think I got this done. I think
Wait, okay, so if you lose, Parizo doesn't suck.
Alright, let's do
I
this.
lose, Parizo sucks, but I don't believe it.
I think you should have said the other way around. If you win, Frieza
Wait.
doesn't suck.
I win.
Frieza sucks.
Frieza sucks.
Yeah.
Yes. Some god somewhere just told me that was the way.
Okay.
This is the way.
Wait.
Whoa, Thilroom, you're going too fast. We go 1, 2,
Use
3,
that
reveal.
Okay.
Ready? 1, 2, 3, reveal. 1, 2, 3, reveal.
Wait, it's best of 3. That's the rules. That's the rules of rock, paper, scissors.
So, Frieza does not suck.
That's not true.
Yeah, it's fair. I've lost fair and square.
Yeah.
Frieza does not suck.
Write that down.
Wow.
Make a deception check for me.
Could I make a counterpart inside?
Insight? Absolutely.
It's not good.
Way better than his deception.
No, that was a pretty shit roll.
Oh, was it?
Let's see these low rolls.
That is a 13.
14! Yes!
He is lying through his teeth.
Hey,
His sharp teeth.
don't lie to me. I just told you Frieza lied to me and I didn't like it.
Okay. I still think he sucks.
Yes, but by definition, he does not.
Yes, by definition he does not. Because you won the bet, and for no other reason.
Let me read out something for you, Gunnar. So, elves have carried the Mark of Shadow for thousands of years. The Mark's bearers left Arenal, the continent outside of Corvair, after the conflict that wiped out the Mark of Death and established House Falan in Corvair. These elves are expert entertainers, giving them access to all manner of places and secrets. Known to few, they have always been an elite force of spies and assassins within House Falan. Only special clients have access to these spies. Towards the end of the last war, a bit of feud broke out between the major families of the house, known as the Shadow Schism. It resulted in a split within Falan, and then House Thorani was created. So, House Falan continues to offer entertainment and espionage in the land's west, while Thorani operates in the east.
Are we in the west?
You are currently in the west, correct.
Have I heard any news of the Baron, though, being alive still?
Not to your knowledge, no. There is a name that does that you do recollect. Baron Elvenor Elorethi. Baron Elvenor.
That's what I'm talking about.
Yeah.
So I have heard of them being alive?
Yes.
Okay.
That particular person. A
Where-
noble or high up in House Falan.
Where would I find this person?
Usually, I mean, rumors have it Regalport.
Where's that?
Regalport is around. Where is Regalport?
Hey,
It's on the map.
hey Siri, where's Regalport?
I'll come back to you on that.
One possibility I see is that the one.
I'll come back to you on that.
Okay.
So,
Do they hear us playing paper, scissors, rock outside?
they do.
Do they hear me say, by definition, Frieza does not suck?
Yes, up here, sorry. House, sorry, all the way up in the Lazar Principalities.
So she's in the east, even though they take care of the west. Right.
Seems to be.
Okay. It just happens to be the place that all that other stuff's going down. Isn't it?
Marul Holders here.
Yeah, there was something happening in the Lazar Principalities as well. The pirates?
Pirates of the Lazar Principalities are battling Carnath at the moment.
Pirates of the Caribbean. Okay. This is so complicated. Okay, yeah, this seems like it's really, this is a lot to process. I think we should tell everyone. Amara, come back inside.
Do I hear that in my head?
Yeah.
Uh,
Bring him too.
Thorun. Everyone wants us to go back in.
That'll be remarkably awkward. I kind of left on a dramatic note.
Oh, I'll just tell them that you're gone.
Thorun, come inside.
Oh God, can I
respond
to that?
yeah.
Did you see how I left? I timed that really well.
I don't think it looked as good as you think it did.
I'm gonna walk back in.
Alright.
Oh, jeez.
But I'm gonna like,
Towel between your legs.
not angry, just exhausted.
Bothered.
No, just tired.
I'm gonna walk back in.
A quick glance by Fariso, but that's all you see. He concentrates back in the conversation at hand.
That's all I need. I got to him. I know that.
I'm gonna say in Frieza said, by definition, you don't know. I'm joking.
His Majesty has something he wants you to know.
Me or both of us?
Well, both of you.
About the reward?
Oh, good. I'm glad you didn't forget that while we were gone.
As a token of our appreciation for all you've done, I can grant you the deed to a small tower and farmland and servants outside of Shan.
Are there animals on the farmland?
That can be arranged.
Okay.
Any specific ones you want?
Ones that
edible.
Piggies? Can we get some piggies?
ones that can't be eaten.
A Tarrasque?
No. I think some little pigs would be nice. I'd like a goat.
Very well. A goat it is. Several, in fact.
No, just a special goat.
They don't have to be tended by you.
No, I want it as a pet.
Very well.
I'm not going to.
You can name it.
Can you get me a cat as well?
Yes. Any particular color?
Black.
Very well. The farmland generally grows corn, just so you're aware.
Goats eat corn.
Can you point out where this is on the map?
He describes it to be. So Shan is all the way down here,
At the
at
hill.
the very, very bottom. So this is the King's Forest here. We have Rote there. So he's talking about basically that little square just inside the forest.
Covered in the
So
woods.
it's on the edge of Zalago.
It's on the edge of Zalago.
What can I ask? What is the primary function of this property?
A holiday abode.
Does it have any magical properties?
Unfortunately not.
So
The house gonna eat us.
I guess my question is,
It's very well built.
Do
It has defenses, but mundane ones.
okay, so
It has
how do you travel there? By
by a company of horses, a carriage.
okay.
Or I mean, if you'd like, I can arrange for more swift travel.
I've got to keep this with me at all times. Yeah. Yes. What do you have in mind?
Well, a private airship, or
Oh, don't tell about this.
Wait. Like for us to keep?
yes.
Can any of you pilot an airship?
No,
Pathways could.
it can be hired. It can be hired by the crown.
I don't trust you.
You will get to know the captain well. He's a good friend of mine.
You can do anything you put your mind to, babe.
Okay.
See,
Will we have time to visit this place before
that's one of it.
we leave?
Yes, we can make arrangements for that to happen. You'll also have time to go out and purchase what you need.
Okay.
But I would ask that you take no longer than a week.
A week.
Yeah, that's possible.
Okay.
Is that not enough time, Amara?
I don't know yet.
Very well.
Maybe you could stay home and look after the piggies.
I didn't say anything about pigs.
I did.
Goat.
And piggies. And a cat.
So are we in agreement then? Are you accepting of this gift? And do you need to know any more information?
I think it's more of a payment than anything. But sure, we'll accept the payment.
Very well. He goes towards slowly and very weakly, hobbles, is probably the better word, over to his desk where there's just paperwork everywhere. He opens up a few drawers before he goes down to another, and inside this drawer there are just multitudes of scrolls that are written up and tied with like a purple blue silk. And he sort of rummages through, overturns a couple of them, takes about a minute or so, and pulls out one, which he's unfolded already. And he goes, sits at the desk, sort of slowly. He takes a moment to breathe, and then sits. Quill and ink. He then takes it and just jots something quickly onto the paperwork.
Is it a writ of execution?
He takes a moment and breathes and rolls it up again. It's called Pilas Tower. And I've written your names. And I've written the name of your group as well. So the 5, and your names have been written in. And it is now yours. And he sort of holds it out just in the center of the room.
Massage Rook's shoulders and go, you deserve this, babe. You grab it.
Yes, thank you, Dench. Does someone already take it?
No.
You want to take it, Rook?
Yeah.
Okay.
King Romanella, thank you.
What was his name?
Browanel.
Romanell.
Bromanel?
Borinell.
King Rob.
King Bro.
Braza!
Braza!
It's actually Frazzle Blue.
He gives you a slight nod and you're welcome. I hope that helps with the lack of communication that we've had.
I feel like this probably will help the others. I passed it over to Gunnar.
Sorry?
I passed the...
Oh, and I'll just put it in the bag.
Fariso pipes up now. He says, as a symbol of gratitude from the Arcanix, we can also inscribe a teleportation circle there. A permanent one, if you'd like. A way that you can travel easily between major cities and temples that also have the teleportation circles there. There are several places that we can offer.
That sounds good.
How do we use it?
Might I ask, would anybody else feel to ensure in now to this portal?
You'll have guards. The guards, however, possibly will require ongoing payment from yourselves if you choose to keep them. There is a magical effect to this place, however. Magically sealing it and locking it to make sure no one enters.
Do we have to have a spell to use that?
Just think of the place you'd like to travel to.
Oh, okay.
That sounds pretty good.
Thanks.
Very well. If there's nothing else, then we will meet you here again, perhaps at the gate, when you are ready to continue your journey. If a week is not enough, just be aware that time is slightly constrained. We do not know if the dwarves have already fallen or if they are still in siege. The longer we wait, unfortunately, the more likely it is that their kind may not survive their invasion of the drow. That is the only thing stopping us from...
Do you have... what's her name?
Vala.
Vala? Vala?
The drow?
Yeah.
Yes.
In the arm. Yeah.
Vala. I'll look at her. Do you have anything of your sister's? Any of her belongings? Anything that she owned once? Or...
Taking from beneath her robes this large gold chain. At the end of it... What's that?
Just one arm.
Just one arm. That's thank you very much for clarifying. Yes, she takes over the one arm. This golden necklace, and at the end of it, it looks like there is an orb. This orb is completely black. There is a very tiny, when she hands it towards you, an extremely tiny white light that seems to be slowly rotating within it. That is the only... It looks like it's obsidian. So usually not see-through, but this one is. And this golden chain has links that are very roughly wrought. They're not smoothed down or anything. You can see the rough work within it, almost from like a hammer and nail.
Yeah.
She says, "This is hers.
Do you mind if I borrow it?
Keep it.
I will... Oh.
It is a weight on my shoulders.
It is a what, sorry?
A weight on my shoulders."
Oh. I'll magic it to me, into my hand. Does it feel heavy?
It's very heavy.
Okay. I'm like, oh,
Especially
I can see that. It's heavy.
It's not only the gold, but that on its own, this stone, like almost like a black marble, is it's also almost, it's dense to the point of being almost as heavy as the rest of the gold chain put together.
Okay. Well, I don't know about keeping it, but I can... We'll talk later, I guess. I'm gonna use this to see if I can glean anything from your sister.
Very well, use it. Varisos talks now and he says, "What do you think you will do with your week of freedom? Will you learn something? There are spells to be learned, there are skills to be had, there are things you can purchase to better protect yourselves."
I think preparing is a good idea for what we're about to walk into, and from what we can glean. If we're unprepared, this could be the last time you see us, for instance.
I hope it is not. It would be an enormous loss.
Can I insight that?
Yes, you can.
I have no way of like wording it. I'm like trying
Can
to
I
be so
tell to
creative.
see if he's
I mean,
lying?
I've been so creative with it.
Is he lying about wanting to see us dead, basically? What did you get?
19.
A 19? Let me just send you something.
He hates us.
He fucking hates you.
As a token of friendship, is there anything you can pass on to us?
Make a persuasion check for me.
He just
Hey, we
To Farisa, right?
To Farisa.
Yeah, you're asking Farisa. Okay.
You're right, we did that.
I know.
so uncharismatic.
I love the most uncharismatic person is the one making the roll. You got it,
What am I
babe.
doing?
You got it, babe. You deserve this.
Persuasion. It's not perception, Rook. No.
It's 11.
It's an 11. Okay. Marisa looks at you, squints slightly. Yes, there is something I can do for you.
Pat on the back.
He puts. He actually reaches out towards your back, but instead he holds Rook's Dench's shoulder. And as you scream that, Amara, you feel Dench this almost like a cold breeze passing over you, and that pink vision that you had suddenly dissipates, and you're looking at Rook while you're holding him tenderly, and it suddenly turns into just holding him.
Disgust. He stinks.
Assuming I'm still holding him from behind.
Yep.
So I'm gonna tenderly grab him by the shoulders and turn him to face me, and then I'm going to unarmed attack him right in the face.
Sure, go for it.
I'm going to add I believe it's like trip attack or something.
Yep. Okay. Excellent.
Oh my god.
Yes,
No, you
trip
can't.
attack
Against
with
the rules.
my last superiority dice. So I'm just rolling for like a normal attack.
A roll an unarmed strike attack. Yep.
So that is going to be a 26 to hit.
So is he now... If you're
Killing
in
you.
combat and you're standing next to me, I don't know, you might need to roll this.
What's that?
Does he take 1d6 damage
From?
fire?
It's not a critical.
Oh, it's in a crits.
It's on crits.
Yeah.
Yeah. So roll for your damage.
Oh no, that's
Is this for your armor?
the armor, yeah.
Yeah, it's
when
on-
I get crit.
It's when you get crit.
Is that just automatically a 6? Yeah, so it's automatically a 6. And then the trip attack is
6 damage.
6 points of bludgeoning damage as you
Yep.
just see this enormous fist just crack against the side of your head, and then you feel yourself start to just go backwards.
And you also must make a strength saving throw with a DC of 17.
17.
That's
It's my DC too.
So you are also just knocked prone.
Flat on your ass.
Dick! And then I'm just going to walk out.
You slam against the floor. Such a quick motion, but strong. You just did not see that coming at all. As you just look up and you see this bright flash of light, as though you almost went unconscious, and you feel this bruising starting to occur on your ankle where that trip happened from this enormous foot. And then you look up and you see the door close behind you and Dench out of the room.
Whoops. That's it. You just put your arm up in the air.
Fair.
That was fair.
Can I just ask
Yeah,
you
just ask myself.
a question? How do we arrange to get to Pilatho?
Pilas.
Pilath. Why did you have to put an S in there? Pilath Tower.
Who are you asking?
I'm looking at the king and
Okay.
Friso.
So the king turns and he says, on the upper central, where there is the there are towers where airships dock and they leave. There is a private tower for this particular airship, and it will it is docked in Shan currently. He describes the direction to you, so you have it pretty much in your mind, Gunnar.
Okay.
And he says they are simply docked and they are ready to go. at your order now.
What's the name of the airship?
Good point.
And what model and make is it? He's
So
like,
the
yes.
registration.
The airship is called the Kite's Wind. It's a small ship. It's a two-masted vessel. It's powered by an air elemental, and it is also powered. It can also be powered by some other magical means as well. The perpetuating fire spell that allows it to propel forward.
Okay. Okay, thanks.
Woo!
Cat's wind.
I'm gonna start making my way towards the door, but in the mind of Farizo and the king, I would like to say sorry if we were dicks to you, and I'm just gonna keep walking.
No response again as
Don't let them.
yep, cool. And you leave. King Boronel says to you, Gunnar, the captain's name is Captain Ildov Krog, and he'll see you. He'll see you safely there.
Ildov Krog.
Yes.
Gonna get the spelling from you later.
ILDOV space Krog.
Okay.
C actually.
Hey.
Kron.
Krog. Obviously. Gosh.
Sorry, no. I'm just gonna do this. I'm just gonna say, his name is James. Yeah.
Even better.
Too
No.
late.
No.
I wrote it down.
I'm never
James
using.
Krog?
Yeah. I'm never using a normal name for you, Rook. Sorry.
Did you say Jim?
Yeah.
Is it Jerry?
Yeah, that's the one.
Jezza.
So what's everyone doing currently? Who's out of the room now?
I would have.
Making my way
I would've
downtown.
left, yeah.
Walking
Yep,
fast.
you as well. So it's just yourself, Rook, in the room, on the ground, but getting up, and then you, Gunnar, as well. The Fariso and the Drow and the King didn't seem to take any notice of that incident, assuming that it was just a
Lovers quarrel.
hustle, between friends. King Boronel continues. He says to both of you, "Is there anything else we can offer?"
If you're interested in what happened there, and I pull out the potion, this is what I use. Nah.
Oh no. You flick it at Freezer.
Yeah.
Oh, you should do that. That'd be dope.
I just after all that conversation, everything that happened in there, I'm just like, King, Friezo, Valor.
King who, sorry? Which king are you talking to?
Valor, should we be expecting you at the Moorholes? The Moorholes.
Who are you talking to?
Valor?
Vala speaks and she says, "I will be here at the gates in a week. That is where you shall meet me when we are ready.
Out of interest, if we don't present ourselves,
I will wait. So far,
you won't continue with this mission?
I cannot do it by myself. So far, you have been my only aid so far. No other mercenaries have answered the call
Understood.
and lived."
Then in a week then, we'll test our metal and see how far we get up this mountainside.
No, when you'll be arriving is within Corona Peak and whatever we find there.
And this mission that we go on, should we prepare for a few days inside this cave?
Yes. Prepare stealth. Prepare potions of healing. Perhaps find other potions that might be of use. find weapons, magical or none. Let me tell you of just something that may come about if need be. My sister and the drow in general, they cannot be affected by certain magics. They cannot be put under the influence of persuasion or enchantment. They cannot be poisoned. And there is nothing that they fear. Nothing.
I'll let the group know. Thank you for this information.
You're welcome.
In regards to training, you must know these cabins far better than anyone if it's your sister we're about to do combat with.
I know my city, but I do not know Krona Peak. That is where we will need to land, and then make our way down from there.
Understood. Might you know anyone in the city that would know of this area?
I just hope we could come across allies instead of enemies. Perhaps when we are there, they can help us.
Understood. For now, thank you all for this rather exciting conversation. And I shall take my leave and be with my friends.
As you leave, Gunnar, what are you doing?
Out of interest, sorry.
Please.
For King Boronel.
You got it.
Hey! And that's the end of the stream.
No one acknowledges.
That's the cliffhanger.
Level up, yeah.
Go on.
You're level
up.
1 now.
Yeah. Go on.
You're sending us on a mission that we perhaps may not come back from. And you also promised me some tutelage.
Ooh.
Is there something that you could show me in the way of combat? You said that to learn something is important to go here, so why not learn from the best?
King Baronel smiles, and this is a very wide smile. And he says, give me a day, and in return, I'll be very interested to see what you know.
I'll come back a day early before the week is up then.
Till then.
Look after yourself and get a good meal. Take care. And I'll leave.
Making my way.
Are you doing anything else in the room, Gunnar?
Yeah. I keep forgetting your name. I'm gonna look at the drow lady.
Yeah.
Vala.
It's like Bella, but with a V.
Yeah, I know. My brain's just a little tired. Could maybe you meet us at PLS Tower instead?
I can do that.
Because I don't want you just standing around waiting for us at a gate somewhere.
Well, how is that different from a tower?
You're visiting us at our tower.
Will you be there?
Oh, yeah. That's our house.
I didn't know. Okay.
Yeah.
I can do that.
So in exactly 1 week from today, so that would be Tuesday.
At 6:45.
At 6:45, we'll see you there. Maybe.
Such a specific time, but
Well, that's
very
how
well.
that's how meetings work. You set a time and then you stick to it. So
It's good to be consistent, I guess. Yes.
yeah,
People might follow us.
people might, people
We-
think
we-
you're more reliable that way.
We do not want anyone to follow us. We do not want
No,
any
this
spies.
is secret, Amara. You
This
can't-
is secret.
I'm not there.
Well then,
That's your conscience.
I just say that anyway.
we
even though
simply
you're not
want
there.
perhaps allies to follow us. But
Maybe we'll probably need to work on that ourselves. I have some ideas in mind. So
Everyone check their posture, please.
thank you very much. Appreciate it.
So I'm gonna look into that, but if you have any ideas, please bring them with you in a week's time,
I will
and
think on this.
we can set up a little war room, maybe.
Okay. She then turns, gives you one more nod, and simply says, "Thank you. Truly." And she turns and walks out of a door that was closed and wasn't the one you came in. And they're looking through. There seems to be simply another room adjacent, similar in look. And she closes the door behind her.
I will leave.
Okay.
I think everyone else has left, haven't they?
All right. You all are now in the hallway. Fariso joined you only a moment after. And he looks to all of you and says, "You're doing a good thing here."
I don't want to go.
I don't want to go.
It's dangerous. But you've been in far worse danger in worlds that are not here. I see not how you will not breeze through this.
I've seen it in a prophecy.
What happened?
We all died. And I realized I sounded like Thorgrim then, but it's true.
Prophecies, from their very nature, they can be changed. You know this from...
I know. But that doesn't mean that they all can be changed.
Some are
Doesn't mean
true.
that none of them are going to come true.
Some are true.
And I'm sorry, but everyone's saying that we're going to die, and then I have a prophecy saying we're going to die. It feels like we're going to die.
Think on this then, in the week that you have while you prepare.
Did you say gonna die?
We're all going to die.
Oh.
Including you.
You are Ilyanar's servant. Trust in her. Go back to your roots, and if you feel like it is the right time to save an entire race of people, then know that it was probably Ilyanar's wish. Perhaps over the week that you have, try and talk to her. See if she agrees, or if she feels like your path is elsewhere. Perhaps put your confidence back into that. It may have been a small while since you've meditated. Talk to her.
I meditate every day. And every night.
Have you heard anything about
Not
this?
always.
I'm merely trying to help Amara. I can only suggest you simply do what you do best and take advice from those you trust. And I think Ilyanar is certainly one of those mentors.
Amara, we can talk about this later. I have some ideas. Ways that maybe we don't have to be so involved.
Maybe. Let's just go. Let's go find the land tavern.
Get
I
drunk.
get to show. I don't drink.
That was a
people.
joke. I'm just kidding.
I can show my new gift to these people. You know the thing that Barclays gave me?
And with that, you all start to walk out of the castle with a week to think about what you would like to do to prepare for the next stage in your adventure. Perhaps not in Shan, and perhaps somewhere far away, with the promise of finally somewhere to rest permanently in Palace Tower. Yes.
Right before, if I feel like you're going to end it, I'm going to just say, as we're like walking out of the castle, I'm going to cast Sending, and I'm just going to screech at Buckley's. Where's our money?
Money. And that's where we'll finish it for tonight. Thank you to you. Well done to you.
How much like weird subjects did we? That
I counted about 15. Thank you, everybody, very much for watching. That was episode 41, and hope to see you back here next week. Thank you so much for the subs again, guys. Super grateful. Thank you. And congratulations once again to that
Crit Happens.
Crit Happens.
Thank you very much. Congratulations to Crit Happens. YT. We'll be sending out those dice to you shortly. And anyone else have any final closing comments?
Just a massive thank you again for everyone tuning in.
Eat healthy.
Eat healthy.
Don't eat crap.
Just don't eat. All right, everybody.
Don't eat crap.
Stay hydrated, guys.
Have a good night, everybody.
Take care.